going, but once again, we have another very busy news day, so let's get at it. Uh, man, one of these days, I'm going to figure out how to have this all ready to go for you guys, but today ain't that day. But nevertheless, today is a very, very busy news day. So, being candid with you, I was considering taking a rest tonight. Not chewing you guys' ear off, but shit, it's been a lot more. There has been considerably more things have happened. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take a day off because, yeah, shit's happened. Such as Elon Musk challenging Trump. As you can see, that's the name of the live stream is going to be called. So as I put this in on my, because I'm getting YouTube horizontal going. So give me about 30 seconds to a minute, and we should be able to get the program going fully here. But that's generally what you see me doing in the first 2 minutes of the show. And even though there's some people in here now, generally the people I'm talking to now are the ones that watch this on rebroadcast because all of my lives are permanently available on YouTube. And there's a few people that actually watch them watch them in the morning or whatever after I'm done with, when we're not actually on live. So I always want people to know when I'm actually when they're rewatching it, why the first minute or two doesn't have anything going on. It's because I am getting the other streams up. So let me see if I can get this one going, and if it does, we'll be going live momentarily. I don't know why it says that, but okay, there we go. You already see who's on the screen, so you kind of know where this is going. I'll go ahead and start up Instagram, and we will get TikTok going. If I can get the right setting here. Let me just make sure I get this here before I screw up something that I don't want to do. Once I get this, we're going. So let me show it. All right. Okay, there we go. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Big news day today. I mean, let me just say this right off the bat. President Trump, our 47th commander in chief, if there's one thing I want to give him credit for right off the bat is that he literally is the political gift that keeps on giving. I mean, there's not a dull day with Trump. And one of the things I've made clear on my broadcast is that to keep somewhat of an entertaining show, I make the solemn promise that I will never go on here just for the sake of doing it. If I don't have something interesting to talk about, if there's not something really interesting going on in the news that day, I'm not going to come on here. And that's sometimes why you'll see me missing days. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that under Trump, though. Every damn day is an interesting news day with President Trump. Like literally every day is an interesting news day. Now, I got a few things I want to run by you today. Because as I just stated, today is yet another interesting news day. First of all, we're going to get into what you see on the screen, the January 6th pardons. And a lot of folks want to move on from this. I get it. But more developments have come out of it. So we're going to talk about that first. And then I want to go into Elon Musk because Elon Musk has challenged Trump in a way that I think you should actually hear. In fact, I'm going to start right out I want you to hear this video. This is a quick, I think it's Sky News. And I try to avoid playing news, I try to avoid playing news clips from media that doesn't have credibility. I know a large portion of my audience is MAGA, and MAGA is a little bit more challenging than the left because MAGA just doesn't really get credibility to hardly any news organization out there. So certainly if they're critical of Trump. So what I try to do is play clips that are generally coming out of somebody's mouth. So you don't have to, necessarily take any reporter's interpretation of it. That way you can't say it has a liberal swing or something. But unfortunately, this one it is going to be a reporter reporting what happened. He doesn't offer any opinion. He just tells you what happened. And this is a foreign, I believe this is England. I believe this is the UK, but you can clearly understand what he's saying. Remember yesterday we talked about how great it was that Trump got all of these tech gurus to commit to putting $500 billion, investing $500 billion in America over the next 4 years. This is an update, and this is Elon Musk challenging Trump.
A first fracture may have appeared between Donald Trump and First Buddy Elon Musk after the announcement of a new AI project. The US president yesterday unveiled a nearly $800 billion investment into AI infrastructure alongside the leaders of SoftBank, OpenAI and Oracle, which will create a new company called Stargate. But Elon Musk has taken a swipe at the deal on X, writing they don't actually have the money. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority, is what he's written.
Now, did you hear that? So in other words, the people that were on television with President Trump yesterday talking about they were going to put $500 billion into America.
Hi, Scott. So
Elon Musk just basically spilled the beans and said the folks that promised this money don't have it. So you got the Trump administration putting out a message saying, do not listen to Elon, listen to Trump. But Elon Musk has stated that the folks who promised to invest $500 billion in America does not have the money. Wow. So I don't know how Trump is going to deal with that. To have your right-hand man telling the American public, don't buy into what he's saying. He don't have the money. That's crazy. For Elon Musk to go out there and say that 24 hours later, when Trump is still literally basking in the celebration that he's bringing so much money to America. And you got Elon Musk like, no, they don't have it. So I want to talk to you about that and how that's going to go. And I see the comments. King Finn says, so the parents are fighting. Apparently so. But we got more. You know, remember the old 1990s infomercials? But wait, there's more. You know, we always have at least a couple topics. And like, damn it, I swear to you folks, Trump, it's hard to only have two topics with him. Every day there's 4 or 5 things going on. I got to give Trump a shout out for his age to be this fucking busy. I could not keep his schedule. That guy is something is constantly orbiting around that guy every day. And it's often many things. But I want you to also hear this one. Now, I got a special take on this, but it's going to be a question to you folks, but this is President Trump. Now, you may have already heard this. We all know that he pardoned the January 6th hostages. We all know that. But I want you to hear his explanation for why he did it. And as you see on here, this is I think that's the leader of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers being released or whatever. But I want you to hear his explanation for why he did it.
Stewart Rhodes. Speaking at a news conference yesterday, the president defended his pardons and commutations, even though some were charged with violent crimes connected to the riots.
These people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing.
Now I want you to hear what he said. Now, he's talking about the prison they were in was inhumane, it's disgusting, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Now, what I want to ask you folks is this. Now, we know when he pardoned those folks and he let them out, the prison is not vacant. There are other people still in this disgusting, inhumane facility. And it's a federal prison, so he is the overseer. He has ultimate control over federal institutions. I want to ask you folks, is he not obligated if he know Americans are being forced to be involved or live in an inhumane, disgusting place? Is he not obligated to help them all? I mean, obviously he got the January 6th protesters or hostages out of there. But you've admitted on video that the place is inhumane. Being incarcerated does not mean being in an inhumane environment. So if he's going to say that the place is disgusting and inhumane, and he has the ability to change it, should he not do something about that? If he doesn't do something about that, does it mean that he only cares about his people and not all Americans? I mean, he's on video saying it's inhumane and disgusting. So I want to talk to you folks about that, because at the end of the day, that is kind of troublesome. If you're going to say it's a place that's inhumane, you know hundreds, if not thousands of other Americans are there. What are you going to do about it? This is one of those, and before I go to the comments in the box to start taking callers, this is one of them, what I call Peter Doocy moments. Remember how he used to trash the Biden spokeswoman, Karine St. Pierre. He really did a job on her. I give Peter Doocy credit. He's made a career for himself because he was so controversial when he was really kicking her butt. I mean, he asked a lot of tough questions. That's his job to do it. So I don't fault Peter Doocy for doing what he did at all. But this right here is a Peter Doocy moment. Some reporter should have asked Trump what I just said. If you were admitting that this federal prison is inhumane, what are you going to do about all the other Americans that are living in that condition? That's something that a Peter Doocy type would ask. They should have challenged him on that, because you're admitting you left people in an inhumane condition. What are you going to do about that? And we would have let the chips fall where they may. Anyhow, so looking in the comments right off the bat, that's a fair point. Maybe we should make the prison nicer, says God. Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, because you listen to the liberals, you listen to minorities. They've been complaining about being incarcerated in inhumane conditions. They've been complaining about that shit since we all been alive. And I will submit this to you. The same folks that Trump just pardoned, that are talking about how inhumane the prisons are, these are the same folks that otherwise would be wanting politicians to be tough on crime and wanting politicians to give people stiff sentences and send them into this environment. My guess is the same folks that went into the Capitol building will be literally the least sympathetic to anyone complaining about how inhumane the prison system works. If you go back to January 5th, the day before they got in trouble, my guess is they wouldn't give a damn about some convict talking about how inhumane the prison is. But now that they've been through it, now that they've experienced it, they suddenly want people to be sympathetic to their cause, and President Trump is saying the same thing. I'm going to tell you, and I know this is a free speech program, so I always invite the audience to point out if you think I'm getting it wrong, if you think I'm full of shit. Feel free to state that. We don't block, ban, or censor. You can have your opinion here without any concern of the host trying to dictate how you should think. But to me, this is what we talk about when we start talking about privilege. You were totally fine with this fucked up inhumane system until your ass tripped on it. Now you want sympathy that you otherwise would not give a damn about somebody else going through. That's my opinion. You have a different one. Feel free to state it. So going back to the comments, imagine the COVID inmates. It was horrific for them and still haven't bounced back from that. Imagine the COVID inmates. What happened with the COVID inmates? I don't know about that one. What happened to your MAGA audience? I want to hear from them about this. Obviously, U-turns. I want to hear from MAGA tonight as well. So we're gonna see if we can make that happen. Nevertheless, you know how the program is ran. Before I start taking callers, I have to give the spiel. We are MAGA friendly, always have been. Solemn promise we always will be. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. MAGA is my preferred guest. Nevertheless, the liberals are welcome on the program as well. MAGA you asked for, MAGA you shall get. Jeremy, good evening, Jeremy. Welcome to the program. Hopefully not. I may have some. I don't know if it's telling me it's unstable. I don't know if it's going to. Jeremy, are you there?
Yep, I'm right here.
Okay, you kind of muffled there.
Get my new phone.
Yeah, you kind of muffled. I can barely hear you.
How's that?
Let's try to make it work. Okay, so you heard President Trump suggesting that the prisons are inhumane. Is he obligated to do anything about this since these are his institutions? These are federal institutions. Is he obligated to do anything about it?
I think he was more talking about the fact that it's inhumane that some people he thought were innocent or who were overcharged were in these prisons. I don't really think it's the idea that the prisons themselves are inhumane. I do think that prisons do need to be adjusted a little bit, but for the most part, I think a lot of these federal prisons are run probably the way they probably should be. And controversial opinion, I know I am someone who's both against the death penalty, and I don't believe we should adopt the European style of making a prisons nice.
I'll tell you something. The way our criminal justice system is ran, the recidivism rate is considerably worse than in Europe. I mean, far more of our inmates return back to being incarcerated than they do in Europe. So whatever we're doing, it's worse than what they're doing in Europe.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what causes that. I'm going to be honest. I normally have an opinion.
How about treating them like animals? How about treating them like animals and then letting them out and expecting them to be civilized? How about putting all sorts of hurdles in their way to progress? You got a felony on your record, it can be hard for you to get a job. It can be hard for you to even get a place to live, and you're expecting a civilized human being to come out of there. You don't see any possibility that might be one of the reasons why they go back to committing a crime, because that's the only way they can feed themselves?
But then that brings up the question. Let's say someone got out after one of their crimes is murder. Don't you think that would be a valid concern for a tenant? Not for a tenant, sorry, but for a landlord to rent out to one of their tenants? Don't you think they would have the right to be like, well, hold on a minute. I mean, this is what you went away for jail.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, but the problem is most people incarcerated are not in there for murder. They're in there for drug offenses.
Right, fair enough. And I can understand that the big F in the felony just all of a sudden makes you feel a little...
You're muffled again. I can't hear you.
How's that?
No good.
How's that?
Better. Much better.
Okay, good. So, I can understand that the big F in felony all of a sudden makes someone a little hesitant. But the thing, well, first off, wasn't Trump trying to like lower the actual criminal statute for weed offenses and stuff like that? I thought he did that back in his first presidency.
It may have been something he talked about doing, but he didn't do it. Because I tell you one thing: if a person on the right wanted to lower the punishments for weed, you wouldn't get no pushback on the left. So he clearly didn't attempt to do that, because the left are the ones that believe too many people are incarcerated to begin with. So if he started talking about lowering the punishments for weed, you're not going to get any pushback from the left. He didn't do it.
Well, all right. Well, I guess not everything can get done sometimes. I wonder if there was some Republican opposition. But back to what I was saying. I think that one thing we do wrong in prisons is we don't have enough staff. I know this might sound a little crazy, but you see, a lot of state prisons, the inmates actually run a lot of things, and even in federal prisons, where they try to do a better job of putting people who are in gangs apart from each other. A lot of times, the inmates have a lot more power, and they intimidate other inmates and cause them to join gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think the problem is, Jeremy, I think our country, because we want to be tough on crime, we kind of want our facilities to be, not only do we want you incarcerated if you commit a crime, we want your stay in there to be really bad. So it's not uncommon for people to say, I hope while you're in there, people are hurting you while you're in there. So I agree with you, we need to do some of these things, but the American public wants the inmates to have the worst time they can while they're in there. And oddly enough, they expect you to be a great citizen when you get out. But we want our inmates we want them to eat poorly. We don't want them to have access to TV or anything that would develop them as a human being. So you get people that come out they haven't touched electronics in 20 years, or they don't know what's going on, and you expect them to be able to get a job and all of this when you've literally frozen them in time. And yeah, so when you start talking about separating gangs and making prison safer and more peaceful, we don't want that. We want it to be the way it is. That's why it's like that.
Well, I feel that we kind of neglect prisons a little bit with how we talk about it, because I think they're kind of the last place that we really think about, because I think the average American is thinking about other things, like, you know, things that involve the outside world and not inside in prisons. But I do think that we don't need prisons to be fun. We just need them to be more civil. So, like, you can still, like, we can have it where, like, cots are still just barely comfortable enough to sleep on. The cells are clean, but they're not as beautiful or good looking at all. We could have it where the food is nutritious but not very tasty.
Yeah, but that's the problem. If you make food nutritious but not tasty, you actually create a violent black market for food that is tasty. That's why they fight over ramen noodles and stuff. You're creating the violence you're talking about you want to get rid of.
Yeah, but I think that's fair. I think that's just how it should be. I would even get rid of commissary. I would even get rid of that, because I think that you should just eat whatever you're served.
And you want to serve them food that's not tasty, is what you said.
Not like gross, but just kind of bland.
Why? Why? I mean, the punishment. The
punishment aspect to be there.
The punishment is the fact they are not free. I don't care how great a place is. I wouldn't even want to be in Trump's bathroom for 10 years, even though I know it's got gold faucets and everything. I want my freedom. Taking away somebody's freedom is the punishment. You don't need to beat the hell out of them with all of these psychotic games when they're in there. Why are you doing that?
Well, hold on. The gangs are a bit of a different issue, though.
No, I said games. Game. You're playing games with their mind.
Games.
Yeah.
Games. I don't think it's a game, though. I think that here's the thing. I hear a lot of people say, like, look at the European model, you know, and try to imitate that, like a lot of Nordic countries. But I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think prison is supposed to suck, and I think that if you look at the people who are advocating for it the most, for prison not to suck, it's the very people who would be going back. And I think, and I understand there's a bias there. But, you know, but I think that at some point you have to be like, shouldn't we be making you face a real consequence?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Here's the problem. If prison only consisted of murderers and people who were sexually assaulting children, the most violent among us, I might be to entertain what you're talking about, because you got to understand, if you put somebody through hell and high water, now they have determined they can survive through it. And you've kind of removed the incentive to be fearful of it again. You don't. So if you put somebody in jail for a drug offense, you don't kind of harden the hell out of that person. So now they've proved that they can survive that. And now when you put them back in civilized society, they're one of the baddest motherfuckers around. You're actually making people worse than they were before. When you give them bad food, you don't give them any entertainment. You put them, as you say, make a drab place that looks like a psychotic ward. You're actually toughening people up. It's kind of like when you see these programs with Navy SEALs training and all that, and they put them through all of this rigmarole. Well, they're doing it to make you tough. You're actually toughening these people. No audio.
Better?
Yeah.
Wait, just because you're a tough person doesn't mean you're going to commit crimes again. In fact, if anything, I would say that it would make you a harder person that's more willing to focus and get a regular job, because maybe you're used to crappy conditions. And by crappy, I just mean unpleasant conditions. I still think that you should make food nutritious. I still think that jail should be clean.
Yeah, but you got clear historical precedent. You can see from at least 30 years now that the system we're using that does most of the stuff you're doing is not working. I mean, we're doing everything you're talking about. We give them drab food where they're fighting over ramen noodles and M&Ms and now you want to take away commissary, so you don't even want them to have even a chance of getting better stuff. So I mean,
yeah, but there's the black market. There's the black market right there. The commissary is usually where the black market hits. and usually people get traded as property for commissary.
Yeah, but if you do what you're doing, the black market is not going to go away. It's going to change who is overseeing, and now you're going to be paying the correctional officers to bring in food. I mean, that's all. That's if you get rid of commissary where they can't buy it, they're going to start because the correctional officers don't make a whole lot of money. So now all of a sudden you got a correction officer that's being told if you can bring in a carton of M&Ms or Doritos, I give you $100. And they are then, they're selling this shit for astronomical prices. You're creating black markets. People get killed over that stuff.
I think that we could pay correctional officers better too. And we should have them have higher standards for them too and have more training. I
think you just should treat the inmates a little bit better. And once they come out, because like I said, you're treating a person like an animal and you're expecting them to be all kinds of, healed and a civilized member of society when you're treating them in every uncivilized way you can come up with. It just doesn't work like that. And that's what Europe has figured out, is that you gotta keep this person's education going, because we over here believe that, well, I didn't get a free education, so why should they? So they come out fucking idiots. And then
I think they could get an education in prison. I would keep that in there. I would also keep yard time.
You would keep what?
Yard time.
Oh, you mean let them go out in the yard?
Yeah.
Well, I think most of them do let you do that unless you got a real heinous crime. You can go out and get some fresh air. I think some of you get to the point where some of the stuff we do is so inhumane, it starts almost violating the Geneva Convention. Like some of this shit is, like Trump said, it's inhumane. Like you can't keep somebody in a room for 23 hours a day, and they actually do that to some people. I mean, you start turning some of these people into zombies.
Yeah, but some of those people are like lifers. And some of the people are like, the people are so dangerous that they do need to be locked down for that long, and they give like an hour a day for exercise.
Yeah, I think we do that though to a lot of people who don't. If you're talking about a Jeffrey Dahmer type, that's one thing. But some of these people we do that to. Some of it is just simply out of anger. We are angry to our criminals, so we want to abuse and mistreat them. And a lot of folks who get that don't deserve it like that, which is what Trump is pointing out.
I can see that, but here's one thing I will say. We have different levels of prisons. Some prisons are actually really nice. Like if you commit like a small financial crime or something like that, or like manslaughter where it was like clearly just you didn't mean to do the crime, but you were still responsible, you go to what's known as a low or a camp.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much like
your audio's going all over the place. I don't know what you're using for a microphone, but you're all over the place.
That better?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I have to hold on in a very specific way in order to do that. But here's the thing: there's such thing as lows and camps, which are like extremely low level. And so I do think, and so maybe your real issue, I think, here is, are we sending them to the correct prisons? But I don't think that we can. But you even admitted yourself, like for people who committed murder or sex crimes, that they should go to higher level.
Yeah, if it's some, I'll give you a perfect example. The guy that Trump pardoned in 2017, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Now, he wasn't over a prison. He was over I believe like a jail or a county jail or something like that. And he had him wearing pink underwear and watching the Disney Channel. He was already beating them down. I think he was bragging that he only gives them bologna sandwiches. I mean, he was already making an effort to treat people like shit. Now he's in the Arizona desert, and he was bragging how he makes them sleep in outdoor tents with no air conditioning, just beating the hell out of the people for no reason at all.
Yeah, but there was low recidivism with him.
No, it wasn't. No, that's what he was telling you. That's what Phoenix didn't become safer when he was in office. No, it wasn't. That's what he was telling you.
From what I saw, it didn't seem like a lot of people were committing the same crimes over and over again.
Okay, well, we can go back and forth on that, but I mean, are you okay with acts of inhumanity if it brings down the crime?
No, but I don't think that I think we have different definitions of what inhumane are.
Do you realize how hot it gets in the Arizona desert?
Yeah, it can get pretty hot. And I'm not even saying that I agree with Arpaio, but I'm saying he's clearly an example of how when you give harsh punishments, sometimes it corrects the behavior really well.
I don't know. I would hate the system for real if something like that happened. I got to move on, but before I move on from you, I want you to see something. This is a video, because one of the things you often hear in regards to what happened on January 6th, how the hell could you have an insurrection if nobody had any weapons? This is an actual video of a Vice reporter that's actually there. Now, I'm going to play about a minute and 40 seconds or so of it. But I want you to see something on the video, because like I said, everybody claims that there's no way you could have ever had an insurrection because nobody has weapons. I want you to see this.
Wednesday started like so many Trump rallies had before. But the anger and the tension felt more intense. Congress was about to confirm Joe Biden's presidency, and most here were convinced it was a fraud.
Do you think people are angry today?
Absolutely, people are angry, and you can feel it. You can feel the rage, the madness.
Before Trump's speech was even finished, many were already making their way to the Capitol.
Stop protecting tyrants! Stand down!
And as more protesters arrived, the mood darkened.
Hold up, man! Hold up, man!
We're here at the Capitol steps right after the Trump speech was finished. People started filing over here and started pressing against the Capitol. They start spraying mace and pushing the lines back so people can get through. We're going to move forward.
USA! USA! USA!
But as we pushed up,
Who's on the media? Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
they tried to smash our camera.
Who you with? Who? Who's your girlfriend? Is it CNN? I must better not be CNN.
Police started throwing flashbang grenades and spraying mace. As the crowd pushed up, one man.
There you go. He's flashing a pistol right there. That dude actually has a gun on him, and he showed it to the reporter. So if one guy can have this is something I mentioned before when people said nobody was armed. I'm like, if you haven't patted anybody down, because they said the same thing about Ashley Babbitt there, Jeremy. You know, well, she didn't have a gun. This is a guy that if you looked at him, he doesn't look like he's carrying anything, but he had no problem showing his weapon. I mean, literally pulled his shirt up and showed his pistol to the reporter, because they didn't want this guy filming it. This was a Vice News organization. Vice kind of leans left, I think. But Vice News is out there recording it. I don't know if they knew it was Vice, but they knew they were being recorded, because you heard the woman say, "Get the fuck out of here." But this guy has a gun on him. If one guy can have this, is it possible other people can have one? What say you, Jeremy?
I say it's
Microphone, audio.
I say it's possible.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Before you go, could you please look up that journalist I told you about?
What was the name again?
Lauren Southern.
What is this about?
Okay, so in previous discussions, we talked about immigration issues, and she has a lot of good documentaries out about that, and about police work and stuff. She's done multiple different documentaries, and so it'll be relevant next time we talk, I'm sure, at some point.
Okay, well, you said Lauren. How do you spell the last name?
Exactly how it sounds, like
Southern,
like Southern, like S-U-U-T-H-E-R-E-N.
Yeah, the opposite of Northern. Okay, all right, I'll note it and look it up. But I appreciate you coming through, man.
Love you as normal, brother. See you around, man.
Salute, appreciate it. So I just wanted to point that out to my viewers here, for folks who always have been stating that there's no way you could have any type of insurrection. Nobody's armed. Here's a clear example of somebody that is carrying a pistol and did not mind displaying it. And like I said before, if one person can do it, there's no way in hell you can guarantee that somebody else can't be doing it as well. So continuing on with the program, and I want to make sure I'm looking in the comments here. They don't care, says Michael. I mean, it's one thing not to care, but you can't say it didn't happen. That's all I'm saying. I know a lot of folks do not give a damn what MAGA did on January 6th. They believe they had a legitimate reason to do it. But I'm just simply saying a lot of folks are going around saying nobody had a weapon. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And here's the one that's had no problem displaying it. Real quick, looking in the comments, I don't want to make sure I didn't miss a super chat. Opening up with the one and only Will G. Says, MAGA ain't shit. He says they basically want gladiator games in jail. I don't think it's just MAGA, though. I do believe America. I mean, there's a reason why we have more people incarcerated per capita and in sheer numbers than any other country other than maybe China. Americans love incarcerating people. I mean, if you got Trump talking about everything from giving you a year for burning a flag to 10 years for entering the country illegally. I mean, he's promising jail time for all sorts of shit. Like I told my last caller, if they were all in jail for taking somebody's life or somebody's sexual innocence, I'd be okay with it. But you're going to throw somebody in a harsh prison environment because they burned a flag? I mean, that you're hardening people up. That person should not be, I mean, it shouldn't even be coming up in a conversation that you want to lock somebody up for that. It shouldn't even be in a conversation. Not to mention it is protected free speech according to the Supreme Court. MAGA doesn't want people out of jail at all. Keep them in as long as possible. Prison industrial complex. 100%, like I said, it ain't just MAGA. Our country is like that. I mean, how many liberals you hear get chastised because they're soft on crime? The guy who took out Lincoln Riley, now he was an undocumented, but that was one of the arguments. He should have been locked up at the time. So a lot of folks believe that if you commit a crime, particularly a felony, you should spend a long time in jail. I mean, there's people in this country that want folks to be really tough on crime. Anyhow, looking in the comments before we move on to the next caller, I'm asking also in regards to that Trump being challenged by Elon Musk. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? I'll go to the box right away here. But for folks who just tuned in, this is a 50-second video. This is Trump. Yesterday we covered Trump bragging that 4 tech giants had offered to contribute $500 billion to the U.S. economy over the next 4 years. It was something they were celebrating. Today, Elon Musk, he challenged Trump. Here's the news story.
First fracture may have appeared between Donald Trump and First Buddy Elon Musk after the announcement of a new AI project. The US president yesterday unveiled a nearly $800 billion investment into AI infrastructure alongside the leaders of SoftBank, OpenAI and Oracle, which will create a new company called Stargate. But Elon Musk has taken a swipe at the deal on X, writing they don't actually have the money. SoftBank has well under $10 billion secured. I have that on good authority, is what he's written.
And the Trump administration released a statement saying to trust Trump, not Elon. I mean, so this is interesting. On day 3, Elon Musk and Trump are already bumping heads on something. Let me go back to the box. Trust Trump, not Elon. So I want to ask you folks, who do you trust between Trump and Elon? Because going back on this subject right here. Mr. Quinn, good evening. Welcome to the program. One of my subscribers there. Good evening, Quinn. Have you heard Elon pushing back on Trump with this?
Yeah, here's the thing. At the end of the day, 45 is going to do what he's going to do. Elon's going to talk crazy. And then Trump's going to kick him out the whip.
So you foresee a breaking up between these two?
Oh, it's going to be a bad breakup too.
I believe that.
This is like watching a toxic relationship. You tell him, hey, you might not want to be with that one.
Wow.
And he like, nah, but
let me ask you this. Now I know Trump is the Teflon Don. The love and adoration for Trump is unmistakable. But Elon Musk got the most money in the world. I think he might be the first person that can really, because a lot of folks are hanging around Trump, even though they may not totally agree with everything he says, but they know that he could fuck their careers up and things like that. Elon could look at you and tell you, you don't need him. I got you. So can you see Elon Musk putting up a real challenge to Trump? If they break up, the richest guy in the world.
Here's the thing. Elon's about to find out. Trump's ego is bigger than his money.
Yeah, Elon Musk's money is infinite.
But Trump's ego.
Yeah.
He had the nerve to sit here and bastardize one of the greatest Americans ever in MLK, while he simultaneously was signing that executive order to get rid of EEO and the Fed.
What do you mean basket? I mean, what did he say about? Well, he's claiming that they often claim that MLK would be voting for Trump and he was a Republican and all. I've heard it all.
That was before the Southern strategy, and you know it, Tim.
I know. But half of my audience thinks the party switch never took place.
Half of your audience, Tim. Okay, I'm going to.
What are you about to say? What are you about to say?
Half the audience probably ain't got the sense God gave a grape.
Oh, come on. Are you trying to really question the intelligence of MAGA? I love my MAGA. They just have a difference of opinion.
Here's the thing. I'm okay with you having a difference of opinion.
Okay.
But I'm okay with you having an informed difference of opinion.
Well, they're going to point out that the liberals don't even know what a woman is. So they're going to say, "Who are you to educate me?"
Tim.
I'm listening.
They put gender on the spectrum, but they did not put sex on the spectrum. But we're not even going to get into all that. I can just add some of them. Tim, it's snowing in Florida.
Yes.
It's snowing in Louisiana. It's snowing in Houston. Tim, is climate change real?
I believe it's real. Every scientist,
Okay.
I don't really know of many scientists that deny it. It's just to what level, but yeah, I certainly believe it's real.
Tim, is the Establishment Clause where we have the separation of the church and state, and they say you can't even put religion in the schools? Tim, all these are laws, and they sit up here and they swear up and down, it's not in the Constitution.
Well,
man, you go chew your tobacco, go spit in them daggum mountains, and don't come back down till 28. We'll see you then.
Well, shit, as far as that's concerned, they're talking about getting rid of what they call it, anchor babies. Isn't that in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment as well?
That is it. Again, this man is attacking the Constitution, and they signed up for it. But these are the same people who tell me when they see me with my Navy vet hat on, thanks for your service. Shut up. Don't talk to me.
But when you say they signed up for it, is the correct term not we as Americans heard what Trump was offering, we heard what Kamala was offering, and we overwhelmingly voted for Trump?
No, Tim. About 100, not even half the country voted, Tim.
But
not even half.
Which doesn't say much for Kamala Harris. She couldn't get the vote out. MAGA showed up.
But let's do this, Tim. If you take the vote from the two third party candidates and Kamala, that represents more than 50% of the voters who voted.
She lost.
I'm not arguing that. Between two top contenders, she fell short $1.5 million. I think 1.5%. He had 1.5%. Yet they scream it's a mandate. So what was Joe Biden's? What was Joe Biden's win?
It would have been the same thing because Trump did not Trump didn't beat Kamala Harris by any greater margin than he lost by.
Ask them if Joe Biden had a mandate, they won't say it. They'll say no, he didn't have a mandate.
No, they don't even think he had a win. They think it's still the election. So.
Okay, so Tim, you and I live in a world where 2 + 2 is 4.
Yes.
They live in a world where 2 + 2 is 5, it's 3, it's 6, it's 7. Because they can explain Trump's math. And I've asked every one of them, where do I get my Trump decoder ring? I don't care how much it costs me. I'm willing to pay whatever it costs. Just tell me where I can get the Trump decoder ring.
But let me ask you this, though. If Trump and Elon have a falling out, which you predict, and I kind of believe the same thing, who would you tend to follow? I mean, You're not really favoring either one of them, I'm assuming, but
you remember in the Rocky at the end where they both went to swing at each other, and
at the end of Rocky 3, the end of Rocky 3.
I hope to God they knock each other both out and they fall both down on their face. Both their asses fall out. Nobody answer the bell. Just let their asses die.
Well, not to quote Irene Cara from the 70s, but I will say Elon Musk is going to survive. I mean, he got an insane amount of money.
I'm not disagreeing. What would be fun for me is to see Elon be petty and buy all his contracts in his buildings.
Well, I think Elon Musk would be about as petty as 50 Cent at a Ja Rule concert. I really think he would do that because he's already talked about using his money to primary candidates that don't go with the program. He already talked about giving $1 million to people who would sign a petition. He clearly will use his money for stuff like that.
He's going to buy TikTok. He already owns X. And he can start another platform if he wants to. And he can just sit up here and go all about Trump all day.
Yeah. But you know this does... Even though I get your disdain for Trump or your dislike for Trump, but I'll tell you one thing, this does show how dangerous one guy could potentially be when you got this much money. I mean, he really... like I said, Trump got more power than any president we've had in our lifetime. But I do believe Elon Musk is probably the one person that could give him some real good go for his money because Elon Musk can literally buy friendships.
But here's the thing. Elon's not the only one. All those guys who were up there,
he's the only one. He's the one that's proven he'll do it, though.
Right. I'm saying the other ones, it's not like, let me tell you something. Those kind of people, they're in a small circle. And they travel in that small circle, and they make deals with each other.
I can't. Here's why I say I don't see. Here's why I don't quite see it as you do. Those other very wealthy people, even the Jeff Bezos types, who's supposed to be in the number 2 slot, they're not political. Elon Musk not only does he have a ton of money, but he could siphon some Republicans and MAGA away from Trump, in my opinion, because he is almost a spitting image of him. He does the same stuff. So that's why I think he would be a much more suitable challenge for Trump than any of those other billionaires. He gets deeply involved in politics. You know he leans right. And go ahead.
But Elon could reach down and he could tell MTG, shut up. Don't say anything else and denounce him. He could look over at Grassley, Cotton, any one of them and buy any one of their, hey, I can get somebody. I can run you up out of here.
Yeah,
and then he could go to one of those other guys and say, "Hey, this is going to impact your business this way because I'm gonna get these guys up out of here." And then he can get that he can have that coalition, and they can run things.
I also believe that because of how successful he's been, is that I believe that, you know, and I'm saying this because I don't know, I'm speculating here, but I believe secretly Trump actually respects him because Trump loves money, and this guy has proved, you know, this guy has the number 1 slot, and Trump likes to brag about how he's better. Trump likes to brag about how he's better. He is never going to be better than Elon Musk in terms of finances. So I believe that Trump
he's smarter than him.
Huh?
Trump thinks he's smarter than Elon.
You think so? I don't know if I buy that.
What room has Trump ever walked in and didn't think he wasn't the smartest guy in the room?
I don't know if he thinks he's smarter than Elon. Not at business, I don't think he's smarter than Elon.
No, just smarter in general. Trump thinks he's using Elon. Elon is like, I'm definitely using you.
Yeah.
It's a use relationship.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I think that they both realize they may be using each other to some degree, but if Trump is not smart enough to realize this guy could be a major threat, you know, I like the fact that he gave me $200-300 million or whatever, but he could also give somebody else $200 or $300 million too, and it could be somebody foreign, it could be a domestic enemy of mine. I mean, he has enough money to buy people. I mean, we know everybody from Clarence Thomas in the Supreme Court down to Ted Cruz, all of them folks like money. And yeah, they adore Trump, but if you put enough money behind them, well, shit, I'm going to give you the bills you want, and I'll just retire from politics. You said you got my back, right? Okay, I'll help you get rid of this guy, and I'll just retire. You got me, right? And he could buy damn near every member of Congress.
He can't. Okay, Elon has the money to do it. I believe Elon is buying people in Congress.
Yeah, I do too.
But I also believe Elon he's probably paid some people. Listen, if this son of a bitch doesn't do what I want him to do, then y'all gonna vote against him. When these bills come up, I'm gonna tell you when not to vote for it. And don't worry about it. I got you because I got enough money. You gonna be fine. He won't be.
Yeah.
We gonna push him out of that seat. And if you don't think J.D. Vance can be bought,
I don't think there's anybody that can't be bought. And people said that about Trump. I'm like, I think Elon Musk bought Trump. I think anybody can be bought. I mean,
Elon paid a good penny for him, but he got him.
Yeah, but the thing about it, that was small money to Elon. I mean, he's made more money since buying Trump off than he probably would have made without doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
easy. Elon is not totally stupid. He's an idiot, but he's not totally stupid.
You don't get to be the richest man in the world by being stupid.
No, you get to be that way by being an opportunist.
Well, isn't that what we all are trying to do?
What and don't act like he didn't have a pretty damn good head start.
No, he didn't have a head start. Trump did. I mean, he created PayPal.
He had a mind. He had a mind full of jewels. That's a pretty damn good start.
Okay, all right, I give you that. Okay, all right. But I think that I do think that in terms of inventions, in terms of things he's done, Trump would be at a disadvantage to assume this guy's not smart.
He would, but again, I just think Trump's ego is so freaking big. 45's ego is freaking massive.
I don't think Elon's ego is small either. But I want to ask you something else on a secondary topic before I move it on. Now, we talked about the January 6th thing, and a lot of folks want to move on from this, but it is a story that keeps evolving. Bobart invited the folks after getting pardoned back to the scene of the crime for a tour. How the hell does that look to the Capitol Police? Not only did you let them out for beating the shit out of me, but now you're going to invite them back to the scene of the crime for a friendly tour.
You know what? I can tell you this. If I was one of those Capitol Police, and if I happened to see somebody running up on her, let me hurry up and get there. Let me stop that. Oh, sir, freeze. Freeze, sir. Now the ass
sound like RuPaul.
The ass whooping that she may receive.
Yeah, I get it. And
eventually, I'll stop it. But
so in other words, you would offer lackluster protection if she needed it.
I'm just saying, it took me a while to get to the door, Tim. Oh, the door is locked. You can't get in. My fault.
Yeah,
Tim. You can't. All them people were running and hiding in terror.
Yeah.
You evacuated the VP. You sat there and then you bring these people in. What it shows to me, it just shows they're emboldened. They don't care.
I gotta agree. It does appear to be that way, and certainly would because they got the blessing of Trump. So
exactly. But what happens here's the thing, 26, I'll say this to every liberal who's listening. Please, dear God, develop your candidates. Make sure you get everybody out to vote. The only way we stop this bullshit that he's doing now is we stop him in 26, and we better have a damn good candidate in 26.
It's not only that, but if Trump gets the economy back on track and starts doing great things for America, he's going to be a hell of a candidate. Let's see how well he performs as president, because if he does he can't run again. So he's got to promote somebody else like J.D. Vance or somebody like that. But if he does a good job as president, that's going to make it a bit more challenging.
We've seen what an idiot he is with his own economy. He tanked it after Obama's.
And we still voted him in. So people like Trump.
Not we.
I gotta go.
Tim, come on,
I gotta go. Hey, he's the winner. That's all I'm saying. He won every swing state. The guy's a winner.
He's a loser.
Bye.
And an ass.
Bye. The man won. That's all I'm gonna say. We can say what we want about Trump, whether you like him or hate him. He won fair and square. He won the election. It happened. Looking in the super chat, once again, Trump ain't shit, says Will G. Will G says Trump ain't shit. I expect hazing to come back. And SA, what is SA? SA to skyrocket in the military. Oh, sexual assault. You expect assaults to happen in the military. Wow. So he says, I expect hazing to come back and assaults in the military now that equal opportunity and affirmative action are gone. Wow, that would be bad. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, I think a lot of folks will be blaming it on that. Just like I mentioned yesterday, how Trump removed the Secret Service protection for Ambassador Bolton. If something happens to him, they're going to blame Trump. I don't think MAGA would really care, but he will get the blame for that. MAGA thinks 2 + 2 is red. Okay, that's different. That is a bit different. This is why people fought against lobbyists. Elon is the ultimate lobbyist. I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with that. I don't think there's anybody. And like I said, I've said this before in the program. And by the way, before I go into this, tap the screen. Certainly get the likes up to about 25,000 on TikTok. Smash that like button on YouTube. We don't block, ban, or censor. For you folks that favor this type of dialogue, I will ask that you follow the program. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're on all 3 platforms. Smash that like button and we'll continue on. But in regards to ultimate lobbyists, I do believe that Elon is exposing how much of a problem this could potentially be, because I've said before, a lot of folks on the right side of the aisle, just like they used to do but behind Nancy Pelosi, but it's far stronger behind Trump. People are afraid to criticize these people because their whole political career could be in jeopardy. If you criticize Nancy Pelosi, you wouldn't get any funding because she was the biggest fundraiser among the Democrats. With Trump, your life could be in danger. It's even worse. It's considerably worse with Trump. People like Liz Cheney, and that's why Ambassador Bolton has Secret Service protection. Now, he said Iran, but criticizing Trump can come with death threats. So I do believe there's a lot of folks within the ranks of the Republican Party that essentially are MAGA in name only. They're rolling with Trump because it is politically or financially advantageous to them. But if something was to happen to Trump, let's say, for instance, Trump had lost in November and the Republican Party was in disarray like the Democrat Party is currently, a lot of the Republicans rolling with Trump right now would be criticizing him. A lot of Republicans right now will be telling you about books that they got coming out criticizing the Trump administration. The same thing they did when he lost in 2020. A lot of folks, Chris Christie, his attorney general, I got the book behind me, Ambassador Bolton wrote a book. Who else wrote books? Ambassador Bolton, Attorney General Barr, Ambassador Bolton wrote one. I think Scaramucci has a book out. Hell, for all I know, Omarosa probably got a book. I mean, many folks in his administration had books coming out. And that would have happened now. But he is in power. He's stronger than ever. And I believe there's a lot of folks riding with him because they don't have the option not to. It's not safe. They're not going to maintain their career. They don't want to be like Liz Cheney or Mitt Romney or any of those folks. So they're riding with them because that's their only choice. I'm going to sound really bad probably for saying this. And as I say all the time, you can criticize me if you will. But I believe Melania Trump is kind of one of those people. I really do. I believe that Melania Trump is one of those folks. Look, when you see her in public, does she look happy at all? Do they look like a happy couple? I mean, both of them had the most stoic looks on their face. I mean, they look pissed off all the time. So, and you know, she don't hang around him at the White House all the time. I don't think that Melania Trump, if Trump did not succeed and did not win the second term, I'm not for sure they would have stayed together. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit that, but I don't think that shit is that strong. I think it's there because if she separates from Trump, it's going to be on his terms. If she take him to court or anything like that, the MAGA maniacs are going to be coming after her. So she got to kind of stay for the sake of staying at this point. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. My wife's boyfriend is MAGA, and I hate it. It says Daddy in a Caddy. I love the name. Your wife's boyfriend. Why does your wife have a boyfriend? Your wife's boyfriend is MAGA, and I hate it. All right. Okay, that's an interesting spill. Let me continue with the show, though. That Darkwing Dick hat. Says Kingpin. All right. They celebrated their 20th wedding anniversary today. Trump and Melania did. I didn't know that, but yeah, I really don't think. I think in my opinion, like I said, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, she was on board to be a trophy wife, counting paper until he passed away. Her and the child would have been well taken care of. I don't think she ever wanted all the official duties and work that comes along with being a first lady. I don't think that was ever something she aspired to do. She aspired to ride off in the sunset, enjoying life from the expense of Trump. Now all of a sudden people are putting microphones in her face and expecting her to say intelligent and dignified shit. They're following her around. I don't think she ever wanted that. Donald J. Trump executive order 13848 is coming, says OG Do. Explain that order. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on, MAGA reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Now, I'm going to come straight to you, MAGA reacts, with the whole notion that nobody was armed on January 6th. Did you see the video I posted?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of them had guns, but none of them used them.
But they said how could it be?
Have any guns?
They said no. But that is what people were saying. How could it be an insurrection if nobody had guns?
Also, we don't know if someone inside the Capitol had one. That guy was outside.
Do you need to be inside to have it? If you're outside and you got the police overwhelmed on the outside, all you got to do is walk in.
Yeah, but how do you know he's involved in any of that? Did that guy get arrested?
No, I don't. Yeah, out of the 1,500, I don't know.
You found some random guy outside the Capitol with a gun, and you're saying so that proves that some people inside the Capitol had them.
No, I didn't say it proves. Wait, hold on.
Guy.
I didn't say it proves people had guns on the inside. What I'm saying is it proves that just because you didn't see firearms, people could still have them. Is what people say that Ashley Babbitt should not have been shot because she didn't have any gun. This guy has showed you I could have a gun and you might not see it.
I told you with Ashley Babbitt, she shouldn't have been shot because the guy was on her side. She wasn't going anywhere near him. She was going through a door. He shot her from the side.
She was going through a window.
If she was rushing him, then, he could call self-defense. But to do it from the side like that,
yeah, your take is he should have just let her climb through the building and then let her decide what she was going to do first.
Yeah, if she came toward him, then freaking he had the right to do it.
And if she didn't come,
he got her as she was going through the door.
And if she didn't come toward him, what should he have done?
Leave her alone. Wait till someone actually comes at him and then shoot them.
So in other words, he should have just
retreat. So I don't know what the rules in Washington is, but some places you have to actually attempt to retreat until you're trapped.
I have never heard of police.
It looked trapped to me.
So in other words, you're telling me he should have stood down and let her run the scene.
I mean, that's what they ended up doing in the long term, and it worked out fine. It would have worked out fine.
No,
and isn't that what they did in the end?
No, that is not. How could you expect? How could you ever suggest the police should stand down and let people who are breaking and entering do whatever they want?
When the alternative is shooting them?
Have you ever heard
someone break into my house? I had him death to rights, but he decided to just walk away, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was like, all right, have a nice day.
Whatever happened to fuck around? Whatever happened to fuck around and find out?
That's not always the case.
I
fucked around and found out, but in the end, I couldn't just shoot him for fucking stealing $50 worth of shit out of my car.
Let her break into the door, climb in over the furniture. Let her decide what she want to do, and the cop who has the authority should stand down and let her do whatever she wants.
Have you not seen all these self-defense cases that are challenged, what's the name, Rittenhouse and all that? I mean, if we're going by the Rittenhouse standard, this guy should be in jail right now, the cop that shot
her. What are you going to charge him with?
What do you mean, for murder? He shot her from the side. He wasn't in any imminent danger.
How does he know?
I know he was.
How does he know?
Because she wasn't going toward him. She was going through a door. She wasn't looking at him. She wasn't threatening him. She didn't say that I'm going to kill you. They're there protesting the election. They want to be heard. They haven't really shot or killed anybody.
So let me ask you.
I hate wasting time on this. There's so many other things.
It's insane because your opinion, what you're saying, causes us to waste time because some of the things you're saying is insane. I've said many times on the show.
But we've already said it. We've already gone down all this. We've already had.
But the fact, just hearing you repeat it just opens up the wound again. It makes me go back to what I said before. If someone, hold on.
Before the Rittenhouse thing, I would agree with you 100%. But after the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and after all the things I learned about self-defense and the difference between standing your ground and the requirement to retreat, unfortunately, I learned a lot of shit from the
Kyle Rittenhouse is not a cop. MAGA. Kyle Rittenhouse is not, and Kyle Rittenhouse acting in self-defense. I'm not saying that. I think what they did to Kyle Rittenhouse when trying to put him in prison was wrong. He was stupid to be there, but he had to do that to save his life. So I'm not criticizing Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, but he was more careful.
But he is a citizen. Wait, hold on. There's a big difference. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying. There is a significant difference in how a cop uses a firearm versus a citizen. I mean, the cops get a whole lot of what ain't that what Trump talking about, qualified immunity and all of that. The cops can do a whole lot more in regards to somebody trying to break and enter than you as a citizen.
Ironic. You hate qualified immunity, and you're usually
not
on the cop's side. Why are you defending this cop?
I hate full immunity, not qualified. I hate full immunity.
Okay, but why are you defending this cop for shooting this woman from the side?
I'm telling you what I've said before. I don't care what side you said from the side. I'm telling you this. I don't care.
On the side, man.
I don't care if he shot her in the foot.
Almost from the back, because he was on the side and
I don't care
almost
about
from the back,
that.
man.
I'm not. Let me tell you once again what I always say. I don't care if it's a guy robbing a liquor store or if it's a cop with a badge. If somebody is aiming a firearm at you and they're yelling instructions and you decide I'm not going to listen to them, you increase your chances of getting shot. Fact is, he had a firearm. You can clearly see it extended. And she decided, I'm going to ignore that and come through anyway.
Okay. That's why he's not in jail.
That's like literally fuck around and find out. That is like literally fuck around and find out.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, then, okay, let's leave it there. I really want to talk about this Elon derangement syndrome you guys are starting to have on the left.
Explain. What do you mean by
Trump derangement? Now it's Elon derangement.
Well, I will say this in regards to you said they have Elon derangement syndrome. He is doing a hell of a lot to keep his ass in the news. I mean, that's probably why Vivek was like, fuck it, I'll go govern Ohio. This dude wants way too much spotlight. So he is, you can say derangement syndrome, but just like Trump, he is trying his best to stay in the news every day.
He's always been like that. Since day one, since Tesla became a thing, he was always like that.
Then you can't complain about people always talking about you when you want to be talked about.
It's not that you're talking about him. It's like you're giving him characteristics and you're making him out to be like the devil. Like, he only bought Twitter because he was like forced into it almost. Like,
how did I make him out to be the devil?
Well, the other guy, Quinn, did. He said he's gonna do this and he's gonna primary everybody and take over the government by buying it with all his money.
You know,
and
it's interesting you said, because I had one of my MAGA views chastise me in a direct message. You know, I talked to a lot of my MAGA folks outside of the program, and he chastised me in a similar fashion about, you know, when folks were saying that Elon Musk get the Adolf salute, and I told him, You make it sound like you don't understand how politics works. I get that you don't like hearing the Democrats call all Republican racist, but you do realize the Republicans call all Democrats socialists. Politics works like that. You can't throw around a bunch of insults and brag about mean tweets, but then all of a sudden when it comes to you, well, I'm not like that. You should treat me fair. No, this is how it works. Just like you're saying people are saying that Elon Musk is a devil and he's going to do all this crazy shit. Remember when Obama was going to turn the whole country into socialist Greece and take away everybody's guns and gas was going to be $7 a gallon? That's what happens. That's politics.
I get it. But still, like, it doesn't mean I have to like it. I didn't like it with Obama. No. I don't like it with Trump, and I don't like it with Elon. It's, you know, I feel like Elon, he bought Twitter because he hated the censorship, and he bluffed, and they called his bluff, and they actually forced him to buy it. You guys remember? Like, he was trying to get out of buying it, and they basically sued him into buying Twitter because he made the offer. So they forced him to buy Twitter. He turned it around and made it like free, even though it's like mostly right. That was not his intention. I mean, the left to be on there and be just as free.
But what do you think about him? What do you think about him correcting Trump and saying these people that you're celebrating don't have the money they promising?
Okay, I mean, we're MAGA. We're like a coalition of so many different people that we don't agree on everything. We're not like the Democrats where we have to agree on everything or you're out of the party.
Really? You didn't see all the people talking about Biden need to step down? You didn't see all the Democrats who chastised vote for me, you ain't black, or the crime bill? We don't all agree on the same shit.
I mean, all the stuff you just said. I mean, all I heard from what you just said is you better get in line or you're not part of the party. That's what Biden said. He said, vote for me, you ain't black and all that shit.
Yeah, I do agree with that. When it comes to Trump, if you don't get in line, you're a rhino. I mean, it's simple as that. If you're critical of Trump, I don't care if you are Liz Cheney or you're Fox News. If you're critical of Trump, you instantly become a rhino and they have no time for you. I mean, there's tons of examples of that. You don't believe that?
Not quite. I mean, obviously I see it through like rose-colored glasses, but obviously for me, it's, you know what, let me not say that, because I've seen the other side say the same shit, so I guess both sides always see the other side doing that, but...
Well, here's my example.
I think Trump usually okay as long as you're fair, because he's done a lot of...
That ain't what I'm talking about. Here's my example. When you see how people acted on the evening of January 6th, when you see how the Republican Party was holding Trump accountable on January 6th, and 2 days later they had completely changed their tune when they realized his power was still strong, nothing happened for them to change like that. It ain't like all kinds of information came to light or anything. They went from saying this guy's 100% guilty and tried to storm the Capitol building to all of a sudden, well, he didn't have nothing to do with it. Nothing changed to make them say that. They got behind him because they realized their careers were in jeopardy.
At least a year or two.
Huh?
That took at least a year or two, and it took us finding out a lot of things.
Well, the moment McCarthy went to Mar-a-Lago and showed Trump that he was supportive of him, the whole party went right behind Trump. And that was only a few days later. That wasn't no year or two. That was a few days later.
Listen, the way I saw it is Trump was fucked and he was abandoned until Afghanistan. When Biden fucked up Afghanistan, that was like Trump's beginning of his resurgence. But I think Fox News was against him. I mean, it's tough because Fox News had to keep the line between keeping these people happy and doing what the hell they wanted to do, keeping the rhinos happy, I guess. I hate calling them rhinos. I like calling them Bush Republicans because that's what they are. They're all.
How about calling them traditional? How about calling them traditional Republicans?
Same shit. Okay, I'll give you that.
Let me ask you this. Let me get your opinion. You can give me whatever you want to give me on this. What is your opinion? What is the difference between traditional or Bush Republicans in MAGA? What is your opinion? And what makes them different?
Well, MAGA, I feel like MAGA is more center, where the Bush Republicans are more traditional, more conservative.
Center?
More establishment.
Center? Center how?
What's the question? Sorry, repeat that?
You said they're more center. Center how? On what issue?
MAGA?
Yeah.
MAGA is all over the place, and for me, I'm in the center, and I feel like most MAGA's in the center, because most of us are ex-Democrats. Most of us are Democrats that switched over to Republican or switched over, to MAGA. Or people that weren't interested in politics at all, and we just, became interested in politics and joined MAGA.
That doesn't make sense to me. You're pro 2A.
How many MAGA have you met that said I was a Republican or I voted for Obama or any of that stuff? We all have.
I mean, I've never, just because somebody tell you something, because I'll tell you this, I've never had somebody come out and tell me I am a racist. They all say they're not. So I don't know. People don't always tell the truth, but and you say center.
Yeah, but when you hear the same story over and over, I've heard it so many times of like, I was a Democrat, I voted for Obama, I did this and that. And then, when
I've heard so many
second
times.
term and Trump's first, he became MAGA.
I've heard so many times the party switch never happened. I've heard so many times that Trump won the 2020 election. And because you hear something so many times doesn't mean it's true.
Listen, Trump started pretty much a new party, and he basically devoured the Republican Party and started a new party out of it.
Well, let me give you...
A lot of us are more to the center. I really believe in that. I don't think we get along with conservatives, but we're not all conservatives.
Okay. Well, my take on it is this. My take on it is the difference between the Republican Party and MAGA is the Republican Party tends to have conservative principles. 2A, small government, fiscal responsibility, pro-military, pro-police. That's what the conservatives and traditional Republicans tend to favor. MAGA favors Trump. That's it. If Trump is pro-police, they are. If Trump is okay with pardoning people who beat the shit out of police, then they're okay with that. If Trump is wanting to bomb Kim Jong-un in North Korea, they're okay with that. If he says I should invite this guy to the White House and establish a relationship with him, they're okay with that too. MAGA is down with Trump.
Why
they
do you
don't
think
care.
They're okay with all this stuff?
Huh?
Why are they okay with all this stuff? It's because they're in the center.
No, because they
They're
believe
okay with
Trump.
being-
They believe Trump is the smartest guy in the room.
No, it's because we're in the center. We're a little bit conservative. We're a little bit liberal. We all grew up watching TV and falling in love with the Democrats. And, we all got to know Obama together on TV and
That makes
loving him
no
on the
sense at
night
all.
show.
That makes. Let me tell you something. Obama legalized same-sex marriage. Obama was talking about maybe limiting some high-capacity magazines. He's pro-choice. Ain't nothing about MAGA in line with Obama. The idea that you voted for Obama and switched to Trump makes no sense at all when you look at what the two men run on.
That's the story I hear from most MAGA people. I don't know if you've been listening or
They're
you've just been
lying to you,
watching it out or
dude. They're
what.
not. If you favor,
We're all lying, including myself. I'm lying to myself,
Well,
and we're all lying to you.
okay, maybe
Every one of them. I've heard that story like 1,000 times, and you're telling me we're all fucking
like
lying.
I said, and throughout the Martin Luther King era, every white person liked black people. I mean, just because people are saying something don't mean it's true, but I'm just simply saying that.
That's different, though. That's completely different. I mean, why is it so hard that
I
this
told you
media
why it's hard.
generation to be more we're not a monolith, and this is the media generation, and this is the result of our current media and our current access to everything.
But I'm telling you, when you look at the policies of Obama and the policies of Trump, and even Trump, who stated to Jesse Waters on Fox News that Obama did nothing good for America at all, it makes no sense for an Obama voter to vote for Trump. Now, I mean, there's some people that hate Hillary Clinton, so I get it, but this whole large number of former Obama voters voting for Trump, hard to believe.
It's because it's the culture. That was the culture. Obama was the cool one. We all voted for him. And then, then Trump was the crazy one that's going to change everything and actually give us change, where Obama said he was going to give us change, but we got the same shit. So we're like, let's give him, the cool guy a try, then we gave the crazy guy a try, and we got better results with the crazy guy.
Well, depends on who you talk. I gotta move on, but let me ask you this. Now, you voted for Obama, you said, right?
Yes.
Both times or once?
I voted for Hillary in the primary, Obama, then Trump.
So you voted for Obama twice?
Yes.
Over Romney and McCain?
Yeah, I hated fucking McCain.
All right.
And I hated Romney more. McCain was okay because of how civil he was. Again, I was sold to whatever the media told me at the time.
I think you may be sold now. I think you may be sold now. I gotta move. Last word. Go ahead.
Come on, with everything I've talked to you about, all the shit I know, it's definitely my own research and my own thoughts.
Right.
And I watch everything. Look, I'm here. I'm watching everything from Ben Shapiro to TYT to Breaking Point. I watch fucking everything. Fox, CNN, you name it, I watch it. So I get my info from everywhere.
All right. Appreciate you coming on.
All right.
Maga Reacts, thank you. You watch everything and you're still defending Ashley Babbitt because she got shot in the side. Wow. You haven't researched much, says Michael. Toy don't know shit, says Alan. Only if you assimilate it and or white, it's all right. A lot of validity into that. I know you're talking about what we were talking about earlier. There will A lot of validity in that. I can't even argue with that. They may say MAGA aren't all racist, but racists are usually MAGA. MAGA ain't shit. Now, I will say this. I disagreed the first part, and I'll explain, but you says, I don't totally agree with this, but you said they say MAGA aren't all racist, but most racists are usually MAGA. MAGA ain't shit. You want to profile black people will profile you. I disagree that most racists are MAGA, most racists are Republican, because you can be a person of color and be a racist too. Now, I know a lot of folks push back and say people of color can't be racist. I don't buy into that. I believe you can be a racist as a person of color as well. So I don't buy into the notion that most racists are going to be on the right or they're going to be MAGA. Now, my spin on it is, if you are intolerant and you don't like people of color, yeah, you're likely to vote right. That I do agree with. If you're a racist and you don't like people, but if you don't like white people, like Farrakhan, for instance, to me Farrakhan is a racist. I mean, he says some pretty horrible stuff about white people. All of it ain't true. So to me, Farrakhan is an example, and I don't think he's going to be MAGA at all. So I agree with you. If you're talking about people, because a lot of folks believe that only people of color can experience racism. And that's where you can be Asian, you can be Hispanic. I mean, there are people who hate all over the place. It's just that in this country, one group has most of the power and most of the history of doing racist shit. So people only, when you hear racism, you think of one group. And I'm gonna say this before I go to the next caller. And by the way, tap the screen. Get your boy up to about 35,000 on the likes. 35,000, THOU. Can I get up to 35,000? Maybe 40? If some of you folks will show the program some love on TikTok, let your thumbs not be lazy. Show the program some love. I want to, when I mention the racist term, we have what I refer to oftentimes as trigger words. I say a word and a certain group of people come to mind. What I mean is this, like what Will said, if you're racist, you're probably, part of MAGA, probably white. Well, when I say trigger words, I mean racist triggers you to think of one group of people. If I say terrorist, one group of people come to mind. If I say thugs, one group of people comes to mind. If I say immigrants, one type of group of people comes to mind. You see how this works? Even though anybody could be an immigrant, anybody can be a racist, anybody can be a thug. But the way we have it is if you say these words, one particular group comes to mind. Anybody can commit an act of terror. But if I say terrorists, you don't tend to think of Asian people, do you? No. You think of one type of group of people because we've affiliated these words with one particular group. You don't often hear the term thugs used in conjunction with anybody else, generally other than people of color. It's almost always black people, even though anybody could be a thug. So there are trigger words like that. And racist has a trigger word as well. You think white people. Looking in the comments, when you say terrorist, I think of Trump support. Who said that, Eric? Oh my God. And I will say this, like I said, anybody can be a terrorist. I mean, you got to think the Klan hanging around polling places, scaring black people from being able to vote. They were terrorizing the shit out of black people. They were literally the definition of a terrorist. Nobody calls the Klan terrorist, though, but they literally were the definition of it. Before I continue on, you are very right, says Gary Brown. I'll try that Instagram. I just could not get Instagram to work. Sure, let me try right now with one of my viewers here before we continue on TikTok. That says Sherbright or somebody like that. Sherbert, I think it says. For some reason, when I'm hitting this, Sherbert, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey,
Talk to you, Tim.
Appreciate it. Good to have you on. Looking spiffy there with the Kenny Rogers beard there. So
I appreciate it.
Good to have you on. So what brought you on? You've heard the show. What brought you on? What did I get wrong?
Well, I've just mostly wanted to talk to you for a while now that you're taking calls not on TikTok.
Now I'm assuming you vote right?
No, God no.
Not MAGA.
I'm in Texas, but I grew up in California, and I can't stand hypocritical people.
Oh my God! So you're a former Californian libtard? Is that what they would call you?
I guess I left when I was 18. So.
Oh God! So you've been out of California for a while. Okay. So how do you like the Texas politics though? Now that you don't left, because
Abbott's a fucking moron. Cruz is a fucking traitor. I mean, what am I supposed to say about the politicians other than they just kind of really suck? And they're closed-minded.
Your state loves Texas Governor Abbott. They love that guy.
Well, freedom isn't very free when it's these assholes.
What is Abbott doing down in Texas that would lead you to suggest that freedom is being hindered?
I mean, I don't have any direct comparisons going on other than everything I've ever seen about him sucks. Like when the power grid went down in 21, he took, what, $2 million in bribes? And then the infrastructure never got resettled and fixed. So what am I supposed to think when they're clearly taking bribes?
Wow. And he is literally a Republican hero because what he did with the busing of migrants to Chicago and New York, that really played a part in Trump winning because it pissed off a bunch of liberals to have all those immigrants.
It played a part, but it wasn't the right thing to do.
No, it wasn't humane. We covered shows on it, sending people there with no clothes and no food.
Just dropping people off at Maine and just expect them to be okay with the cold when they grew up in fucking Mexico? How does that make any goddamn sense?
Isn't he the one that they were suggesting was putting what they call drowning machines in the Rio Grande?
Oh, yeah, that was definitely happening. Wrapping buoys and barbed wire.
Wow.
And even if you don't want them there, it's just okay to kill people? What the fuck? That's not part of our Constitution.
No? Well, the mindset is they should have thought about the potential of dying before they tried to get in the country illegally.
They specifically killed pregnant women. Fuck that.
So why do you think he won again? If Trump and the Republicans are as bad as you're saying, how did they win?
It's the same thing with MAGA Reacts. They're not thinking critically. Fucking make America critical thinking again more than anything.
You're saying my last caller, MAGA Reacts, is not thinking critically. What did he say to make you say that?
He says he watches all these different news shows, but he only comes out with a right-wing bias, slant. Well, clearly he's not looking at everything other than Trump is amazing, even though he's clearly the weakest person around.
Well, but he did say...
He has power now.
But
he does have power, so I will give him that. He is strong in one sense.
Yeah, but
he's the saddest excuse for a leader I've ever seen.
Really? But he did say he voted. Well, first of all, MAGA React said he did vote for Obama twice, though.
Well, I voted for Obama once because I could, but I would never vote for Trump now. After everything I've heard, listening to the other people that have also reacted to him, I've never caught him on the street before. But clearly right after, and everyone says the exact same thing.
What do you mean?
Now, he can be a totally good person, but when every other person comes back and says, yeah, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's just slanted. I've got my liberal bias, but I still come at it from an open perspective, and what is the right moral thing to do? These Christians say that they're doing the godly thing and then being the most of the devil.
But a lot of folks favor Trump's economy, the price of goods and services. They could buy groceries. How was your finances 2016 to 2020?
About the same as they are now. I mean, things have gone up quite a bit because of the pandemic, but people aren't thinking about the pandemic anymore.
Yeah.
That's over for them.
The border?
We had the biggest goddamn thing in the world, and we did better than anyone else, and it still doesn't matter. It's still Biden's fault, even though the world can go crumble.
Yeah. Well, what about the border in your state? I mean, you're obviously on a border state. The major problem with immigrants they were suggesting. Did you favor Biden's handling of the border?
Yes and no. What are they supposed to do? It's the immigration system. That's the problem.
Well, Trump has done a few things.
Executive orders are not made for everything. It's supposed to be the judicial system that makes the laws that then tell us what we can and cannot do. It's not on him to just shut it down.
Well, but think about it. Under Biden's last 2 years, it's been a Republican Congress. If Biden had proposed, let's say, remain in Mexico, he would have got enough votes in Congress, so he wouldn't have had to do it as an executive action because all the Republicans would have backed that, and you would have probably got a Fetterman or two on the left.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Everything's too partisan.
So you wait. So wow. So hold on. So what you're saying you're saying that even if Biden had proposed a standalone Remain in Mexico bill, the Republicans would have shot it down just because it's coming from Biden.
Absolutely.
Damn.
I mean, there's the senator from Texas, maybe it was a House of Representatives, but he said, I'm not feeling like giving Biden anything right now.
Wow.
And they wanted to win, so they weren't going to give an ounce of anything. So it didn't matter.
You know, I think about it, and you're probably right, because Trump would have been behind him, making it clear that he wants to win. But normally, you would expect him. I mean, because this is what they want. They want the border secure. But you're probably right.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They want the fear mongering, Tim. You know that. It's all about fear mongering. Every time, the same thing you said about with Obama and the Greek, and now it's Panama, it's Venezuela.
Yeah.
They want to fear monger 100%. All the rapists and murderers and
but wait a minute. So you're saying
emptied? It's all fear monger.
So you're saying they actually do not want the border secure?
I mean, they say they do.
Do you believe them?
Do anything to change it? Not really.
You don't think Trump is?
Any of them.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. You don't think Trump is doing anything at all to secure the border, the wall?
He might be trying to do something, but when they had the press conference of the newly built wall, and there was literally a guy behind him scaling the fucking wall behind on the news report, I don't know what you're fucking doing. We should have put a couple $2 billion into those sensors in the ground.
I didn't see that.
They're coming. We can set up a half-mile perimeter across the entire line of sensors in the ground.
Yeah.
We know when they're coming beforehand. The wall is not the important part. It's the people, and they shut down funding for more people. Well, who gives a fuck anymore then, obviously. If we had more asylum judges, then we could get through the backlog. We wouldn't have to worry about them sitting for 10 years in America.
Yeah. So let me just ask you this. Let me just ask you this simple question. When it comes to securing our border, do you think Trump is better than Biden, Biden is better than Trump, or they're equal?
About equal.
Really?
I would give Biden a little more just for being more humane about it, but no, it's all... Okay, let me start with this. I don't think Trump can do anything completely. He has big gestures and big ideas, but he doesn't actually give a fuck about any of the actual critical details that happen. You know, I know the most about immigration. I know the most about, you know, the EPA. I know the most about the UN, even though he came out and said he didn't know anything about the UN when he came out.
So you just think you just think a lot of people blindly believe a guy who does not know what he's saying he knows.
100%. We've proven he doesn't know anything because when it came down to child care, it came back to tariffs. We'll make China pay the tariffs, even though America's pay the tariffs.
So I think I kind of know where your answer is going to be on this, but I just ask you anyway, because Elon Musk is saying that Trump is celebrating proposed contributions from a group of tech giants, and Elon Musk is saying these people don't even have the money and it's ridiculous, don't take it seriously. The Trump administration has released a statement that said, no, believe Trump, not Elon. Between those two, on that topic, who are you more likely to believe?
That's a really hard question, Tim. I don't want to answer that because I really don't like Elon Musk lately. He's proved himself to be pretty racist with the SIG Heil and the freedom of speech when he's banning more people than Twitter used to.
I'm hearing that the guy was just simply telling the crowd, my heart goes out to you. He has Asperger's syndrome. And this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing he has Asperger's syndrome, and that's just a way of him saying my heart goes out to you. Kind of like Celine Dion, my heart will go on.
Tim, I know you're trying to play nice for the other side, but
this is what I'm being told.
So fucking clear. And if he's a brilliant genius, like everyone says he is, he might be a good engineer. Great. But if he's a genius, then he would understand not to do things that are directly directly what the salute is.
Well, one of my guests
saying all this shit and then doing the thing you're saying you're not doing.
Yeah, but one of my
we're trying to fight it.
One of my guests last evening said that the salute on its face is not necessarily what you're thinking. He says you also have to click your heels, and I was able to pull up footage from folks who were doing it, and they do snap their heels as well. They don't just give the
half of it. so it just doesn't count.
I'm trying. So
everyone's apologizing. Fucking DJ Julio and now MAGA reacts. Apologist in chiefs. What do we do with it? When they tell you who they are, believe them.
That's
when they're willing to put so much conspiracy into everything Biden did, and he's trying, the secret agent destroying America, and then you can just, play loosey-goosey what Trump says? What the fuck?
But I gotta ask you though, I mean, we had Trump in for 4 years before. The American people voted him back in. Did you not, did he do anything good for America at all, in your opinion?
He didn't fuck it up immediately, but he sure tried.
Example.
The thing that comes to my mind is the Muslim ban. And now they're saying it wasn't actually a ban. It wasn't on Muslims, even though he said we're trying to stop coming.
Yeah. I've covered that. Yeah, I've covered the Muslim ban on a number of shows. They tried to say it was separate.
He didn't fuck it up immediately. And I'll let him, say he coasted, but I don't know of anything that he truly did to help. Everything was about, tearing everything down.
Well, he ended the Afghanistan war. Does he not get credit for that?
Absolutely fucking not, on a couple of different ways. One, he keeps saying it's Biden's fault. Okay, so how could we say that it was Trump that gets the credit for that?
Well, no, wait. No, he didn't. He's not blaming Biden. He's only blaming Biden for the evacuation where 13 service personnel died.
He's not blaming Biden. He's not just the 13 service members. He doesn't want to give Biden credit for anything, but he will give him faults. And you know that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay. So he blames Biden. Let's just, no matter what, he's got the worst criticism for a plan he devised. He set it up to leave in August, I believe, which then was way too fucking fast. But then he released 5,000 terrorist soldiers out of Guantanamo and then reduced our troop numbers to 2,500. How does that ever work in the U.S. advantage to give them twice as many terrorists? Little fucking terrorists.
I gotta push back and defend Trump because we know the stuff you're criticizing Trump for on the end of the Afghanistan war. He's speaking with General Milley. Yeah, he's speaking with General Milley at the time in the Joint Chiefs.
And Mike
Pompeo, you name it, but okay, but they're the ones that are telling him.
With the head of fucking ISIS, they literally have a photo of Mike Pompeo shaking hands with the current head of ISIS in the White House or wherever the fuck Fort Bennett, or I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you can't say you didn't know this was coming when you only negotiate with terrorists and then set it on a fast 4 months after 3.5 months after inauguration to pull out.
He believed he did. All right, I gotta move it on, but he believed that America had I'm responding though. I'm responding. He believed that America was tired and weary of war and just wanted to get out. So
no, I believe we should have gotten out. I'm not saying that. But you can't have it both ways of saying that Biden did horribly and then Trump did amazing, even though he set him up for good.
Fair enough.
Anyways, Tim, I love you. I've been listening for about a year.
Damn. Appreciate
that. Happy to see you coming on to I know it was because TikTok went down, but there's plenty of people who want to talk to you on here.
Okay. Well, Instagram it is. Come on back through anytime. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Have a good night.
I'm going to have to ask you to drop it as I figure it out here.
Me too.
Okay. So we'll figure it out one way here or not, because like I said, I'm still learning this shit. What am I watching here? Hang on a second if I can remove from live video. I think that may have done it. Let's see here. Okay, so he's gone. We'll keep the program on. So folks, bear with me as I learn how to bring up folks on Instagram. That was an Instagram caller. I'm learning that. I thought it was going to be MAGA. I thought most of my MAGA viewers were going to. I actually got a liberal on Instagram as well. So that was interesting. The Taliban only met one requirement. That was in the surrender plan, says Travelman. And they're back in power now in Afghanistan. So it does, in hindsight, we gained nothing. We gained absolutely nothing out of that Afghanistan war. I mean, we didn't even get bin Laden because of that. So we really gained nothing, in my opinion, unless somebody can tell me otherwise. Looking in the comments, I did want to respond to a super chat. Will G Says MAGA just needs to fully come out of the racist, sexist closet and celebrate. Some have suggested that that's happening with some folks. Didn't we have, during Trump's first term, people were claiming that they never seen so many people emboldened to come out? Didn't Trump's own federal government say that the largest threat to the country was domestic supremacists, white supremacists? Didn't he say that? So when you say that MAGA just needs to fully come out of the racist, sexist closet and celebrate, Joe Biden also said that. Wrong or right, I'm repeating what has been said. That's what was coming out. So some folks have said it already happened. Equal opportunity is gone. Affirmative action gone. DEI gone. All Trump needs to do is fire every current flag officer. You know, I do look at that like it's some sort of a hit job. I mean, are we to the point in America where there is no discrimination? There is no hindrance for people of color to have a fair shake. That we need to that it's okay to get rid of everything. I mean, what's next? Juneteenth. I do think that they're moving quick. I mean, and to do it on day one shows that it was in the works. I don't. We'll see. I mean, I think over 4 years we'll be able to easily see if the balance of power, let's say African Americans in positions of authority and things like that. I think you'll be able to clearly see if what Trump did was wrong or if it didn't make a difference. If all of a sudden, Trump serves 4 years and at the end of his 4-year term, we can still show, well, black people are still doing just as well, if not better than they were before getting rid of DEI and affirmative action and equal opportunity, then he would have a good argument to say, see, this stuff was unnecessary and maybe even a hindrance to white Americans. But at the end of his 4 years, if you can show numbers where there's all these gains in the white community and people of color and women can show depreciation all over the board, then it'll be clear it did not work. So he's done it. You're not going to be able to undo it until he's out of office. So we got a 4-year study in progress. And if he hands over the reins to another Republican, now you're looking at 8. Now you're looking at 8 years. So we'll see. But right now, there's nothing you can do about it. Did you know that most white people think black people are Democrats by default, says Will G. Because they are, aren't they? What is the percentage of blacks that are Republican? Like 20-some%? Most of them are Democrats, especially in the big cities. I mean, I don't think that's a bad assumption to make. I mean, like, for instance, if you're going to gerrymander votes, let's say you're a Republican and you want to do something to silence Democrats so that you can win. Let's say you're trying to cheat. Let's say, for instance, a Republican or a Democrat, but let's say in this case a Republican is trying to cheat. I think it's safe that if you get rid of black votes, chances are you're getting rid of Democrats. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, most black people vote. I mean, 25% vote Republican. So if you strike a black person from voting, there's probably a 75% chance that was a left-winger. Just playing the odds, it makes sense to try to gerrymander as many African Americans as you can get. Because there's a 75% chance that you got rid of, you got rid of a liberal. Now on the other side, I don't know what percentage of whites vote Republican, but it's not as great as blacks voting Democrat. Most whites do vote Republican, but it's not as anywhere near as great as the Democrats and blacks. It's not that strong. Real quick in the comment, and some of it depends on where you're at, and there's other factors you can maybe take into consideration. But blacks overall, 70-80% is likely to vote Democrat. Trying to catch up with the news, is Adolf still bad? You want to ask me, is the leader of Germany in the 1930s and 40s, is he still bad? I think so. I think he is still viewed as bad. I think so. Let me go back to the box. Oh my God. Continuing on. Tap the screen. Get me up to 40,000 if we can. DEI isn't just about black people. It's about women. It's about LGBTQ. It's about minorities, period. LGBTQ are minorities. It's a minority community because most people are straight. Women, although there's more women on the planet than men, for some reason, women are still viewed as minorities. So I get that it's not all about, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. And a lot of environments are comprised mostly of white males throughout history. So they're trying to diversify it, but the claim is they've overdone it to the point where people of color and women are getting jobs they should not have got. And maybe a white male is qualified, but not given a job solely because they're a white male. So that's what Trump feels, and the right feels that. So their belief is that we need to get rid of this CRT and DEI shit. Going back to the box. I'll continue on with the program. Travelman, good evening. Appreciate you holding it on. Now, a lot, like I said, a lot continues to happen under Trump. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Travelman, good evening.
Both Republicans and Democrats.
Okay, I'll give him a second. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. What's going on? What y'all talking about tonight?
Well, we're speaking on a couple things. Elon Musk is claiming that all of the celebratory contributions that these tech giants were going to give America under Trump is he basically referred to it as ridiculous and said the people don't even have the money. They were promised at $500 million, $500 billion with a B, $500 billion over the next 4 years. And Trump has been celebrating that as an accomplishment for AI. And Elon Musk said, these people don't have that money.
You ever heard of Foxconn?
I've heard of it, but tell me more.
Okay. When Trump was president, they went up to Wisconsin, I forget which city, with Foxconn, and they broke ground on this $1 billion factory that Foxconn was supposed to build, supposed to generate all these jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they have up there now?
What?
They don't have Foxconn. So, it was just a big show.
Well, Trump did not. But Trump didn't get reelected. Maybe the fact that he didn't get reelected has something to do with that.
It never got off the ground.
Why not?
Because it was another Trump play. That's all it was. Foxconn never. It went down. They didn't do it. Now I say that to say this: Trump been in office 3 days?
Yeah, this is day 3.
Now all of a sudden, you got 3 tech guys walking here and say we're gonna build these data centers and we're gonna contribute $500 billion. They were working on that before the election, probably with the Biden administration. Okay. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think they already got one of those data centers already under construction.
So what is Elon Musk talking about then? He claims they don't have the money.
Elon Musk is saying, wait a minute, these guys just show up here 3 days later talking about they got $500 billion. That's what he's saying, and they don't.
So you believe Elon is correct because the Trump administration released a statement and said, believe Trump, don't believe Elon.
Trump a liar.
Speaking of whether something is
he a liar or is he not a liar?
I mean, he's not always honest. He exaggerates, some might argue.
No. Call it, bro. He's a liar. Okay. So this is the deal. Over the next, I think it's 5 years or 10 years, there's going to be a 25% increase in the construction of data centers to handle the demand of AI. So that's already it's all in the works and everything.
So it is likely to happen. And hang on before you respond. In the comments, Paul Warner says it's sad to hear all this racism because of the way the majority voted. I'd like for you to elaborate on that, Paul. I would love to read that. And real quick, also, Mina Huron says DEI does not help people of color, only LGBTQ, 0.1% of the population. Do you buy that? That DEI, the only people it helps is the LGBTQ community?
Most of these people don't even know what the hell DEI is. Okay, once again, they went from CRT to DEI. That's what they did.
and it's all, it's supposed to be based on skin color. No, DEI is more than that. I myself personally, I don't know that much about it. All I know is that over 20 years in the military, we always had some kind of diversity training and all that stuff.
Didn't they get rid of that? Didn't Trump just get rid of that too in the military?
He probably did.
Yeah, I heard he just got rid of that too.
He probably did. We've had diversity and multicultural. They just had different names for it over the years. Okay, but we always had some kind of training that dealt with multicultural and diversity stuff. We always had that in the military. Okay, now this is the thing. All of a sudden, you know what? Everybody, we're the only ones talking about, well, everything should be done not on the content of character and all that other stuff that Martin Luther King was saying. They always want to bring up Martin Luther King name. They need to shut the hell up and keep the man's name out of his mouth. That's what they need to do.
No, they're going to say Martin Luther King was a Republican.
Well, he probably was, but he wasn't this type of Republican.
True. That's
the difference.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
You ever heard of Tony Brown? Tony Brown's Journal used to be on PBS back in the 70s.
No,
right?
I was
70s, and then going into the 80s. Tony Brown was a black conservative. Okay? Nothing like these clowns that you see today.
Why are you referring to them as clowns? They just have a difference of opinion.
No, because they are.
In what way?
Because, everything, they always talking about, well, they went from like I said, because they went from CRT to DEI.
Yeah.
That's how they go from one cultural thing to another. They just spent all this time. We spent all this time on trans people that make up. You know how many trans people in this country?
I don't know a single one of them. It's very small, the percentage.
0.1. This is like 3 million trans people out of 350 million people.
Well, some people on the right might say that's one too many.
Some people on the right, you know what? I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna.
I'm so curious as to what you were about to say. I see Ace Ventura. I see your comment saying Obama wore a tan suit. Yeah, that was a controversy over nothing.
They just it's always something about whining. That's all it is.
But they say the Democrats do that too. The Democrats always have a boogeyman.
They have taken it to a new level.
How do you? In what way? What makes you say that?
Trump whined for 4 damn years. He whined when woe is me. Oh, they investigated me. Oh, whoa, they indicted me. They indicted your butt because you broke the law.
Well, he is suggesting that the justice system was weaponized in effort to take him down.
Yeah, he weaponized it.
He's indicated he will do that.
He weaponized it when he went after the second in command of the FBI when they fired him 2 days before he was supposed to retire. He weaponized the IRS when you had the two top guys, one in DOJ and one in the FBI, and all of a sudden they got audited at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now, didn't he get rid of the head of the Coast Guard?
He fired the Coast Guard. They said that they relieved the Coast Guard, the commandant of the Coast Guard, and one of the reasons that they named 3 different reasons why they did that. And one of them was the construction of the Coast Guard cutters. There's a problem with it, and they're supposed to be behind schedule. But then when the reporters or whatever go talk to the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard say, no, everything is on track. They named 3 items. I can't call it.
I heard they suggested DEI was involved in her appointment.
Okay. You know what? Let me ask you something.
Sure.
They say Ketanji Brown Jackson is DEI.
Yep. I don't think you can be a black liberal without being DEI.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Is Amy Coney Barrett DEI?
No, she leans right.
Is she DEI?
No, she leans right. She can't be DEI if you lean right.
Okay. Because look at Ketanji Brown Jackson's resume and look at Amy Coney Barrett's resume. She's not even in the same league.
I've never done that.
Check them out. It was Sandra Day O'Connor, was she DEI?
Well, the Coast Guard, is the person that was over the Coast Guard, is she a person of color?
No.
Oh, she's a woman. No. She's white. Because I thought usually when they target a DEI person, it's also usually because they're a person of color too. But you said it was a white woman.
Look, they like I say, the DEI is just like socialism and communism. They use those as buzzwords, and 90% of them don't know what the hell it is. It's just like you ask somebody what's CRT, they don't know what it is. You know, you ask somebody, well, do you want ACA or do you want Obamacare? You know, they don't know that's the same thing. It's the same.
I think the problem is, I mean, for some, not all, but for some, they see it as something that is beneficial to a group of people that they don't favor, and that's all they need to hear.
Yeah, but you know what? Do they remember when affirmative action was white?
Isn't that what really helped out a lot of white women?
That helped out a lot of white people.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but you gotta think there, travel women. A lot of policies in America were available until people of color could get, like college and things like that. The country was in favor of this stuff until people of color could get access to it.
It's going on right now.
What do you mean?
When the black farmers won that $1 billion settlement, right? You remember that?
No. The black who?
The black farmers. They won $1 billion
Oh, the farmers. Okay.
Yeah. And then when it came time, now we're talking recent stuff. So they're just now getting ready to start distributing that money. And what happened? Those guys that's filing all these lawsuits, they filed a lawsuit saying that it was racist against the white farmers, that the black farmers were getting all this money.
I haven't followed that as much. I have heard about it, but I can't speak on it because I haven't followed it enough.
But did you follow the one where the black women created a fund to provide money for black entrepreneur females, and they filed a lawsuit, and the courts made them stop? They had to stop it.
Well, I guess I can kind of understand, because if white people were doing the same thing, would we not refer to that as racist?
We have to do it because
I get your point, but
it's the opportunity.
Yeah, I get your point, but at some point, maybe if we did it like this, maybe if we just like some of these affirmative action and things like that, maybe if there was an end date on it, because if you are going to allow black people to do something that whites cannot do for fear of being called racist, there has to be an end date on it. How long do you need this done? Obviously, we need it done till things look fair. Well, you got to put an end date on it or have a certain review period. But you can't allow black people to do it forever. Otherwise, it does start to be racist toward white people. I think.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
Sure.
You had slavery was what, 250 years?
It was a couple of days. Yeah, it was a couple of days long.
Slavery ended 100. We're going on 150 years that it ended. Jim Crow. Then you tack on another 100 years of Jim Crow.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden, black people, they can vote now in 1965. So now everything that's been done over all these a century and a half or 200, 300 years, now all of a sudden everything is corrected in this short period of time.
It's difficult with that because you have so many. The problem is, first of all, allowing the freedom of African Americans was not popular to begin with. So the idea that first you already got to force me to let them be free. Now you want me to make it equal. So that was the problem, is that every single gain was met with stiff resistance. Okay, you gave them freedom from slavery. But now you want me to give them land and a mule and all this shit too? Now you want me to let them vote? Now you want me to hire them at the same place where I work? I mean, so every one of those steps was met with resistance. And that's why stuff like DEI, affirmative action, hell, even Martin Luther King birthday or Juneteenth, all of that stuff's been met with resistance because deep down, we never wanted these folks to be equal to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how to fix that.
Now you got somebody, and if you notice, all the times we've talked, I have never once mentioned race with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Because that plays into their hand.
What do you mean?
That plays into their hand because they're used to people attacking him and calling he racist or he stuff like they're used to that, so they're ready for it. But look at the things that he does. I mean, today didn't he do something? And I haven't been following it too much today, but didn't he do something with the EEOC?
I have not heard it. I mean, because I'm the same way. I'm working during the day. I try to hear some things, but I mean, the guy makes news in so many different areas. It's hard to keep up. I mean, I got notes.
That's the plan.
I had notes for what I was going to do for the show today, and by the time I got on the show, more shit had come in. I guess I'll talk about tomorrow. I mean, he is an evolving character.
See, that's the plan. What they want, they is shock and awe. Just like they said.
Yeah, but you got to give Trump credit. You can't hate on him for doing what he promised. He promised.
Hey, I'm just telling you what they're doing. They're flooding the news with all of these things.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree. I mean, like I said, everything that Trump is doing that is so-called controversial, he promised all of this stuff at every rally. So all he is doing is exactly what he told. Even the January 6th stuff. It ain't like he didn't tell us this was going to happen.
I did not say that.
Okay.
That's not what I said. What I said was they are flooding the news every day. All day long. And they do something, and then it becomes controversial, and then it dominates the news cycle. Right?
Well,
meanwhile, back over on this side, one of those executive orders that he signed may have impacted what people pay for medication.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
I've heard that.
Or it may have impacted how many they made some changes that's going to impact the Affordable Care Act. See, but we're looking at the shiny ball.
Oh.
We're looking at the fact that he pardoned 1,500 people.
Well, but you can't just fault Trump. They all do that. When Biden was getting criticized about the border, he gave us a border bill, but it was a shiny ball or a hidden agenda to Ukraine that people didn't like. They all do that. They all put pork in there.
Hold on. See, this is the thing. You guys go with this false equivalency thing. They all do that. They all do that. You know what? You know what? Yeah, they do. They all every day. Biden flooded the news.
No, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
Every day, Obama flooded the news with all kind of crazy stuff.
No, he didn't do that either.
Okay.
But I will. But once again, I'm going to play the other side of the field and tell you, even though Trump does not always tell the truth, I like the fact that he does talk to the people. If Kamala Harris and Biden had done that more, you never know where their careers could have went. I like the fact that Trump, like right now, he's going to North Carolina because of what happened with the hurricane. He's going to California because of the fires. And then he's going to go and hold a rally in Nevada because he wants to thank them for becoming a red state. Biden never did shit like that. He don't have to be holding rallies right now. He's doing it to talk to the people. Folks like that shit. They like that.
Yeah, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to go to North Carolina. He's going to give a speech, and he's going to tell 55 lies in 20 minutes. That's what he's going to do. Now, you can say, yeah, he's going to do this, but you're giving a speech and you're spewing lies and vitriolic bullshit. That's what he's doing.
I'm just telling you, people like having a leader come to their town and talk to the folks.
He's not a leader. He's into him.
I mean, listen, you don't have a good opinion of Trump. I get that, but they view him as a leader, whether you like it or not. They view Trump as one of the best leaders they've had probably since Reagan, if not better than Reagan.
On the Republican side.
On the Republican side, yes.
Yeah, I give you that.
All right, this is our guy for the next.
But that doesn't mean it's true. That doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
Because a leader takes care of their people. A leader is also has a trait of being humble. A leader can also get people. People would do things for you because they respect you. They respect your leadership skills, not because they're scared of you.
Well, Nancy Pelosi had people scared of her. I don't know about that, but I in regards to saying that he does things for the people, his supporters believe he's doing a lot for them. They do believe he's doing. I mean, whether or not it's true or not, we can debate that. But his supporters do believe he's doing a lot for them. Certainly more than Biden.
So what did he do? What did he? Since he been there, since he signed all these executive orders, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he do for the people?
Well, if you ask them, he's working on securing the border. He's going to make it so that you're getting men out of women's sports. He's trying to lower crime. He's going to honor Lincoln Riley. I could give you a bunch of things he's done that they favor.
Okay, he's going to secure the border.
Yeah, he's sending like how many hundreds of troops is he sending to the border right now? I mean, he's sending.
But look at this though. Think about this for a minute. Since June, or maybe even before then, border crossings are at an all-time low. He kind of late to the game, ain't he?
Well, he's making sure they don't come back.
Oh, that's BS, bro. He's generating, he's manufacturing something down on the border because the crossings are at as per CBP, not anybody else. As per CBP, the crossings are at a they actually lower.
They don't believe CBP. They don't believe them.
You know, well, who they believe?
Trump.
Where Trump get his numbers from? CBP.
I don't know where he get I'll give you a win on that. I don't know. I gotta move it on. I don't know.
I see what I got you, but you know, like it's not that I have a dislike for Trump. Is that I listen to what he says, and I deal with reality.
You do realize Biden and Kamala Harris spent like 2 or 3 years saying there was no problem at the border. You believe that?
I have always said that they blew it. They blew the border.
Okay.
That's the one thing I will criticize them about. Because, like I told you, I worked for Customs for 15 years. El Paso, New Mexico was my area. So I've been down there.
I like El Paso.
I've been to every Border Patrol station and sector in the country. So I know about it. So I know they blew it. Now you won't get no argument from me on that.
All right.
But right now, it's at a low. And now he want to send thousands of troops because he it's all about the show. It's all about the show.
Well, if you're admitting that Biden and Harris blew it, then they left him a lot of room for that show. So here we go. He is our president. Last word on you.
One more thing before you go. Yeah, they blew it. But then in the last 6 to 7 months, I think when he passed those executive orders and they tightened the border down, now the border crossings are at a lower point than they was when Trump came into office. You know, or when he left office, they're at a lower point.
Right.
And he's talking all this stuff, but is the president of Mexico going to agree with him?
I don't think he cares about that. I gotta go though.
Yeah, but he's president.
I don't think. Well, and I'll tell you. So I'll talk about it on this side. But I appreciate you for coming in, Trevor. I'll tell you what I was going to say is that Mexico's already said that if he deems the cartel as terrorists and he do anything to them, that any strikes within sovereign Mexico territory, she said they will deem that as an act of war. If there's one thing I will say about President Trump, favorable to Trump, is he is really good at defeating women. Clinton, Kamala Harris, his ex-wives, he is really good at emerging victorious against women. And the reason why I'm saying that is Mexico has a female president. This might be a bad time for them to have a female because Trump can home in on weakness like a shark to blood. I don't know how hard, in terms of like tough or hard this woman is, but shit, if she is a softie in any way, Trump fuck around and have us owning half of Mexico. I mean, I'm just simply saying Trump is real good at dominating females and stuff like that. So they got a female leader down there in Mexico, and Trump is talking about targeting the cartels and shit, which would mean at least potentially drone strikes, maybe Delta Team Special Forces being dropped off to go at the cartels and shit, seizing their money, which I guess means dealing with banks and all within their border. all within their border. Yeah, that's an act of war, but depends on how strong that female leader's conviction is to stop it. Because we wouldn't tolerate somebody doing that in our country. Let's say the Crips, the Bloods, or the Mafia in America was going into Mexico and, let's say gun running, because a lot of our firearms end up in Mexico. Let's say we had a criminal enterprise that was supplying Mexico with a bunch of illegal products. And they responded the way Trump is talking about. Well, if you don't take care of the Crips or the Bloods, the same thing he says about MS-13. If you don't take care of the Crips, the Bloods, or the Mafia, or whatever the case may be, we're going to deem them as terrorists. So you're going to have planes flying in from Tijuana, blowing up houses in San Diego or in El Paso, like my last caller was talking about. We would absolutely call that an act of war. We would definitely call it an act of war. That's what Trump is talking about doing in Mexico. That's what he's talking about doing, taking out people or entities or groups like the cartel that are in the sovereign nation of Mexico. You can be guaranteed, when you factor in that the cartels are one of the largest employers in Mexico, we're going to kill some innocent Mexicans, people who are just trying to work in some of those coca fields or, maybe just chauffeuring around a cartel leader or something like that. We're going to kill some innocent Mexicans behind that in his effort to take out maybe, the head of one of these cartels. You're going to kill some innocent people. That's an act of war. I keep bringing up, before I go back to the box here, and tap the screen. Can we get 45,000? Tap the screen, get the likes up. I keep bringing up Clear and Present Danger because that movie is a parallel to what Trump is talking about. If you've seen Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford, it's literally what Trump is talking about. And even in that movie, they killed innocent people trying to go after the head of the cartel in them. It's got a lot of parallels to that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, looking in the comments, Pelosi owned Trump, says DJ D's. Pelosi was on top until they tried to take her husband out. Once they did that, she realized how dangerous things was getting. And after that, she started taking a real break and backing off from politics. Once they got to her husband and almost killed him, she wasn't as gung-ho anymore. Ed G says, guy laughs and says they don't even know what DEI is, then says he doesn't really know what it is. This is the buffoonery and hypocrisy you get from the left. I know DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I think the acronyms kind of speak for themselves. Obviously, certain environments are not very diverse. There's not a lot of equity, and they don't include no damn body but a certain group of people. How much more do you need to know? I think it's kind of the definition is kind of right there in it. I don't really know a lot about what CRT means, but I think diversity, equity, and inclusion, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. I know what DEI is. Listen to what I said since traveling. So you did respond to what you said. Weapons of mass distraction. That's what my last guest was saying, that they're trying to distract you from one thing to the other. Will says weapons of mass distraction. It does have some value. Both sides use it. Joseph Hernandez says, I live near the border. The reality is it is bad. I've heard both, depending on where you get your news from. You can always find somebody to say what you want them to say. And I don't live near the border, so I'm not going to pretend like I know what the hell I'm talking about in terms of whether it's bad or not. If you live near the border, Joseph Hernandez, and you say it's bad, then damn it, I got to at least entertain that. But I have seen folks on left-wing media that say they live near the border and it's not that bad and they don't mind living a little bit of water out for people who are walking through the desert so they don't perish. And then I've seen other folks who say they're breaking into my ranch, they're stealing shit, they're in danger, they're running drugs. You can find someone to say what you need to be said. And both sides of the aisle does that on the border. There are plenty of people that are on the border that say it's awful, it's dangerous down here. And then there's others who say it's not that bad. These people are just trying to find a better life. So it depends on what network you tune into. You can find people that say both sides. Before I continue on, CRT changing history to lots those what did that say there, Quicks? CRT changing history to lots those. You made some typos there. I can't understand what was being said there. What does your hat in the background say? It says "Make America Great Again." That is a MAGA hat bought right off of Trump's website. It says "Make America Great." I have another one that says "Keep America Great." I do have a Trump is right hat over here somewhere. I used to hold him up when he would say something I thought was right. He's right. I have a Trump is right hat around here. But occasionally when something goes wrong, I put this one on. Even though it's too small for my head, but occasionally I have to put that one on, depending on who I'm talking to. It's too small for my damn head. Anyway, let me go back to the box, continuing on with the program. I don't know what I just hit there, but did I get to 45,000? Tap the screen. Continuing on with the program, we'll go to one of my subs, Twisted 77. Good evening, Twisted.
All right, Tim, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Good to have you back on Busy News Day, obviously. Now, you heard that Elon is saying that Trump's people with this huge donation do not actually have the money.
Mm-hmm. What about it?
You think Elon's lying?
No.
Well,
I
Trump
think he just doesn't know. I mean, they say one way, he's saying the other way. So who's to say?
Well,
right?
Well, Trump is saying they do have it.
No, the CEOs are saying they have it.
And Trump said, "Do not believe Elon."
Okay, but the point is, why would they lie?
Why would somebody lie and say they have money they don't? Some have suggested that when Trump came down the golden escalator and said he was worth $15 billion, he didn't have the money. Some people lie because it's advantageous.
Oh, you mean like that last guy?
What did he lie about?
I'll tell you what he lied about. He said Foxconn, right? He said that don't exist. It was a sham. It was BS.
Okay.
It's kind of weird because they have a plant in Wisconsin. They're hiring.
What does that plant do? What does it produce?
Manufacturing. They're manufacturing servers right now. So he read a headline. He read a headline a few years ago, okay, where they said it was supposed to be $10 billion investment, and it's gone down to $1 billion for whatever reason. Okay. And so now it's an automatic. Oh, it's a sham. It's BS. It's bull. Because he never followed up on it. But they love to say that we are unintelligent and we are, unread and we're stupid constantly.
Well,
you know what? I just proved that he is lying through his teeth.
I'll push back on that and say, now I do agree. A lot of folks suggest that MAGA is unintelligent and stupid, but I'm going to push back and say both sides do that. I mean, Libtard is saying the same thing.
I'm not saying that both sides don't do it.
Right.
I will happily agree with you on that. But when certain people say that shit, and then I can come back and took 2 seconds to figure out that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about because he never followed up on it because it never said there was. I read like 4 articles.
Any idea what they manufacture? Now, see in the comments, somebody backs you up. Aaron Kleiman says, I am in Wisconsin and the Foxconn plant is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So somebody in the comments is even saying it's in the state. But any idea what do they manufacture?
Servers, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
But I just did a quick search. But like I said, it was just a lot of their website is it's a Taiwanese company. So their actual website isn't Taiwanese. I didn't have time to translate.
I saw some symbols. I did try to look it up when you said that. Now somebody else in the comments says Foxconn is not up and running. You can Google it. I don't know. I can't.
Really? Because they're hiring. I mean, you can look up their website. They're hiring. If they're hiring, you can see their plant on Google Earth. I mean, I don't know what these people want. I mean, their own website. They're hiring people for manufacturing, not construction, because they're doing construction also. But they're hiring manufacturing people. So it's kind of weird that they'd be doing that if they weren't making anything.
Okay, all right.
That don't make a lot of sense.
I have no counter for you on it because it's not something I've researched. My last caller had a different opinion. I couldn't counter him either because it's not something I've researched.
Look. All you got to do is just type in Foxconn, Wisconsin. It's right there.
Okay. Well, while you're saying that, I'd be interested in doing that. What I want to ask you also is in regards to these pardons on these January 6th people being pardoned. Now, I don't know if you were in the box long enough, but I want to play. This is a real quick video. I want to ask you this. So I orated this earlier, and
about the guy with the pew pew.
No, this is not that. Yeah, well, that's something else, but this is not going to be anything to do with that. This was a statement Trump made as to why he pardoned him, and I want to ask you something in regards to his statement.
His pardons and commutations, even though some were charged with violent crimes connected to the riots.
These people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing.
Now, what I'm asking is this. You pardoned them, and you mentioned that the prison is inhumane and disgusting. Now, once you got them out of there, we know the prison is not vacant. It is a federal prison, so it's under Trump's watch. You know that other Americans are still in this inhumane, disgusting environment. Do you believe he is obligated to get them out of there?
Or improve the conditions. Sure.
So if he does not do that, is that something worthy of chastising him or criticizing him on?
Sure.
Because he's admitted that it's inhumane.
Hold on. We can take the reverse on that, and if it is that bad, then why didn't Biden do anything about it?
Then we could fault Biden or however long the place has been around.
Right.
Yeah. Hold on. I would be 100% okay if he fixed it and blamed Biden for not doing shit. I'm with you on that all day. But if he doesn't do anything, that's on him too.
Of course.
Okay. All right.
If that is indeed the case, if that prison is as bad as he says it is, okay, and that is that, I'll be right there with you. If he's not improving the conditions, if it's that bad, then yeah, I'll absolutely chastise him on that.
Yeah, and I kind of want.
I will absolutely.
Yeah, I brought up Peter Doocy of Fox News because he was really good at hammering Biden's press secretary, St. Pierre, whatever her name, Janine St. Pierre. He was really good at hammering her. He did a great job on that. And I'm saying that this would have been a Peter Doocy moment. When he said what he just said as a reason why he got them out of there, they should have had a liberal Peter Doocy in the audience to ask him exactly what I said. If this place is so inhumane and it's a federal prison, and you know other Americans are dealing with these inhumane conditions, what are you going to do about it? He should have been chastised or questioned on that. I don't know if somebody will in the future, but he just admitted one of his own prisons under his control is inhumane.
Okay, well then that's on the liberal media. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, well, I actually want him to do something about all Americans and not just the J6 folks. Is what I'm saying. If you know it's this bad in here, don't take your people out and leave everybody else in there.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay. All right. That's all I'm saying.
But you know what? I do recall during his first term when he signed that bill to let all them other people out that were for minor drug offenses, stuff like that. Remember that?
No, I don't. I remember him talking about it, but I don't remember a whole bunch of people.
No, I remember it happening because they did a whole press conference and people coming up and thanking him for getting him out of jail.
I don't remember.
I know these people in the comments say you don't care, but that's kind of weird. If someone don't care, that stuff too.
Well, maybe they're like me and they don't recall him doing it. I know he got one black woman out. I do remember that. He pardoned a couple rappers.
No.
I don't remember a whole bunch of people coming out like you're talking about.
Well, that's easily checked up though. If these guys want to do it, they won't. But they can. Yeah. I'm not saying you won't. I said they won't.
You kind of make me want to because I don't remember a whole bunch of people getting out like that. Like I said, I remember him pardoning. I remember him talking about stuff, but actually changing some type of rule where a bunch of people got out, I don't recall that.
Oh, I do. Okay. But I watch the press conferences. A lot of people didn't watch those press conferences because they don't like him because they,
Yeah, I mean that just like the January.
The whole TDS thing,
No, it ain't got nothing. Yeah, the TDS thing is just a defense of Trump, but just like folks will not watch media that's favorable to Trump, most MAGA did not watch the January 6th hearing, so they don't know what those cops on January 6th went through. I mean, that's just people watch media that they favor, which is why I always say watch media from both sides of the aisle. I mean, you can say it's TDS, but the right has the same thing.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that. This is why I come on here. It's why I watch, because I pay attention. I listen to what people say.
Can't argue with that.
I also push back on BS when I see it, right?
So speaking of BS, so let me ask you, do you think Trump, what he did with by pardoning all of them, do you favor that? You think he did the right thing?
Sure, why not?
You got people who literally beat cops, tried to take their guns and everything, and they're walking around. They can go out and buy a gun. They have no felony on their record. There are people who got caught with shoplifting, and they got more on their criminal history than these people do now. Even though they beat up cops, stun cops, put a stun gun to a cop.
Right. Listen, I get what you're saying.
You think it's right?
Let me ask you this. George Washington pardoned the people after the Whiskey Rebellion. Okay. They pardoned people after the Civil War. I think that was a little bit more egregious, don't you think?
George Washington owned slaves. Maybe he wasn't a good guy.
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
You're trying to compare George Washington to Trump. I don't know.
I'm saying of the two other rebellions in U.S. history, people were pardoned afterwards.
Is it possible? Okay. Is it possible they could have both been wrong?
So you talk all three people, right?
What do you mean three people? You said two. Now you said three.
No. Well, you say Trump, which wasn't an insurrection. I mean, that's what the Supreme Court said. So
how do you know it wasn't an insurrection?
Well, that's what the Supreme Court said, right? Because I don't know who was charged with it. Who was charged with insurrection?
Wasn't one of the Proud Boys charged with sedition? I mean, he was convicted of it.
An insurrection. That's not an insurrection.
What is it? What is that?
What, sedition?
Yeah.
What they said was he planned something.
You got to give me more than that.
That's what he said.
You got to give me more than that.
That's what that is. You're planning something.
What does sedition mean?
Well, I don't have my computer in front of me.
Well, I do. Let me see what it means. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority or of a state or monarch. He sounds like Ray Epps. It sounds like they gave him the Ray Epps treatment. That's what it sounds like.
Well, no. Ray Epps got a slap on the wrist and a pat on the ass and get the hell out of here.
Well, they got more proof.
Everybody else.
They got more proof on the leader of the Proud Boys than they got on Ray Epps, I think.
All right. But again, that's still not an insurrection.
What is the difference between sedition and an insurrection?
Well, insurrection is actually doing something, right?
Well, if you plan something and you talk about it. No, incite.
It's incite, but again, you're not actually doing anything yourself, right?
If based on your argument, Charles Manson should never have been in prison.
I don't know where you're going with that.
He didn't kill anybody. Charles Manson served time because he incited other people to do something.
You see, you're moving the goalpost all over.
I'm using your terminology.
We're talking about wait, slow down. We're talking about the fact that not one single person was charged with insurrection. Not one.
I just told you they were charged with sedition.
But that's not insurrection. Again.
Okay.
So find me one person that was charged with insurrection.
So okay, so it was an act of sedition. Would you be happy with that?
No.
He was convicted of that.
Okay.
But you're still not.
I don't know the case, but you want me to comment on a case that I don't know about. I haven't seen the evidence. I'm not going to do it. I've told you that 100 times.
Okay, well, let's go with what Let's go with what you have seen. Have you not seen cops getting their ass kicked?
Yes.
And you think it was okay to pardon them for that?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, May 29th, 2019, when they were attacking the White House, the cops got their asses kicked. How many people got arrested for that?
What does that got to do with this?
We'll take it back a bit farther. We'll take it back a bit farther, okay? Mm-hmm. During the summer of love, when they were setting fires to places, like they did to that police station while the cops were inside.
Okay.
Or they were attacking that federal courthouse in Seattle for 100 days straight. And your girl, okay, in the background over there, was helping set up bail for these people.
What's your point?
What do you mean, what's my point?
I'm asking you, what is your point?
You think that's a good thing?
No, I don't think it's a good thing. Here's what the reason why I'm asking you.
Well, it happened.
Yeah, okay, that's
it.
fine. That is so. That based on what you're saying, I could literally go around taking the lives of Caucasians and cite the Klan as the reason why you shouldn't do nothing about it. Everything somebody does, somebody else got away with it. That's not a defense. That's not. You can't. You bring it up. Wait, hold on. Bringing up BLM. Bringing up BLM, which would, by the way, would be a state case. You're not going to get away with what you did because you just did it.
I never mentioned BLM once, but I will ask you this.
You did not?
I will ask you this. No, I said Summer of Love. I never mentioned that word.
What happened during the Summer of Love? What happened during the Summer of Love? What happened during the Summer of Love?
Riots. Did I say it was BLM?
Who was rioting?
People.
People for what? People.
Whoa.
You're trying to wait.
That's not the point, because
you gonna bring up the Summer of Love and tell me you never said nothing about BLM?
And I didn't, because I don't believe. Listen. I don't believe that some of those people may have been part of that movement, and some of those people may have been paid.
The Summer of Love.
I know some of those people were paid.
The riots.
But let's talk about that.
No, I can't let you get away with that. I can't let you get away with that. No, wait a minute. I gotta hold you to what. I gotta hold you to what you just said. The Summer of Love was overwhelmingly perpetrated by BLM. For you to bring that up and say I never said nothing about BLM is insane.
Why is that insane?
Anybody you tell the Summer.
Wait. You guys have been saying for years, oh no, BLM didn't do anything. BLM didn't do this. BLM didn't do that. So I didn't say it. Didn't say a word. Now you're saying, you're admitting to everybody here that BLM.
Everybody know what you're talking about, man. Come on, now everybody know what you're talking about.
Oh, so BLM was responsible.
Everybody know what you're talking about. Period. The idea that you're trying to suggest you never said anything about BLM is insane.
You said they're responsible.
Well, you promoted.
I don't want to talk about.
Okay, hang on. I'll let you talk. Hang on. You promoted Will. You already promoted Will to say MAGA ain't shit. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
MAGA ain't shit. I don't like that guy either. Fuck that guy. Let's talk about something more important.
All right, go ahead.
I want to know what you think about the fact that Biden pardoned his whole family 5 minutes before Trump took office. Took the oath. Not just pardoned him for 11 years, back to 2014. What does that say?
Well, to me. There's two things I'll say on it. First of all, it says that chances are there may be some crimes that were committed, which is wrong.
Chances are.
Which is wrong. But we don't have any proof of it. But it does look like there may be something there, but we don't have any proof of it. And if Trump wants to investigate, he still can do that because they can no longer plead the fifth because they're not able to incriminate themselves anymore. So we'll see what
they could just say they don't know. So that's kind of pointless.
Yeah, he don't want it.
I mean, what about the fact that he pardoned the January 6th committee, Milley, Fauci, all the police?
I agree with that.
Why would they need pardons if they didn't do anything wrong?
I actually agree with that. I mean, that's like saying, why would you need bulletproof? Hold on, let me respond to you. That would be like Trump saying, why do I need bulletproof glass if I haven't harmed anybody? Because there are people that want to harm you. I mean, Trump made it clear he was after Fauci. Steve Bannon called these people out by name. He said they were going to go after Comey, they were going to go after Fauci, they were going to go after Liz Cheney. When you paint a target on their back, that's like putting up bulletproof glass. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong, but people have indicated they want to do a hit on me. So I agree with what Biden did in that case because Trump advertised that he intended to go after them.
Well, if they didn't do anything wrong, then what's the problem?
Maybe the legal fees.
If they committed, wait, slow down. What?
The legal fees. Even if you did nothing wrong, do you know how much money they would have to shell out to prove they didn't do nothing wrong?
Really?
Yes.
So they can't. Like they did to Trump for all them years? Weird.
I'm just simply saying Biden saved them a hell of a lot of misery.
But what I'm saying is, if they didn't do anything wrong, why would they need pardons?
I just gave you the answer.
But see, that's the point. You can investigate somebody. If they didn't do anything, then there would be no reason to have lawyers' fees, right?
I just gave you the answers. I mean, if all of us,
wow.
I'm just telling you, Trump has fired every non-loyalist in the Department of Justice. And there's no way in hell I believe that Trump would not weaponize the Department of Justice the way he claimed Biden did it. He's capable of doing that. So he was trying to save these folks from having a bullseye on their back.
Well, it's just odd. I mean, 10-year, 11-year pardon? That's weird.
I'm just telling you.
And then to make a statement afterwards, just saying accepting that pardon is not an admission of guilt.
But
saying in a separate statement that anybody from January 6th that accepted a pardon was admitting guilt.
And I will continue using the bulletproof glass argument. Just because I got bulletproof glass don't mean I'm out here doing nothing wrong. I got people that might want to perform a hit on me. I mean, the guy announced it ahead of time that he intended to go after these people.
Okay, well, if they didn't do anything wrong, I don't see a reason why they would need pardons.
Right. So if you ain't doing nothing wrong,
an 11-year preemptive pardon.
Right. So if you ain't doing nothing wrong, I don't see any reason why you would need bulletproof glass. I'm not taking that chance when somebody has said there's a bullseye on my back.
So what you're saying is you don't believe in the justice system.
I don't believe that Trump was going to leave them alone.
But again, if you investigate somebody and they ain't done nothing wrong, what's the point in taking them to court?
So
what are you going to take them to court for?
So let me ask you this. Just give me your honest opinion. Maybe you'll go either way with this. You know, I don't ban or censor, but if a president made it clear they were after your son and your son had done nothing wrong, would you leave him out there if you could pardon him and prevent it? The guy don't made it clear he's coming after your son. You know for a fact your son has done nothing wrong. Would you pardon him or would you leave it up to him to fight his way out of it?
I mean, if he had done nothing wrong, I would pardon him. But I think we've established that he was convicted of a couple of things now, wasn't he?
Yeah, but Hunter Biden
it's not true that he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But again, to say that I would pardon him for crimes that they committed, sure, I can see that. And I would have accepted it.
That ain't what I asked you, though. I said,
okay, but this...
I'm talking about. We're not talking about Hunter Biden. I do believe Hunter Biden may have committed some crimes. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about everybody else that he pardoned, like Liz Cheney and Milley and all these folks. What I'm saying is, if your child, you felt confident your child done nothing wrong, but the next administration made it clear they're going to target your son, and they believe he's a criminal, and they're putting a bunch of loyalists on the Justice Department, would you leave your son up to the mercy of that if all you could do with a stroke of a pen is pardon him?
Then don't use the word your son, because that doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Somebody you care about. Okay. Somebody you care about.
Okay, but let me ask you. Let me ask you this. You're the president, right? Mm-hmm. And one of your top generals goes and calls what is an adversary of our country and says, "Hey, don't worry about nothing," behind your back. And you're going to say, "Well, that's cool. We'll just pardon his ass," right? You don't think there's a problem there?
Yeah. Now, you got a good point. I've said before. Problem. Yeah, you got a good point there. I've said before what General Milley did was wrong, but the Biden administration view what General Milley did the same way you guys might view what the January 6th protesters did. You believe that they were patriots fighting on behalf of America. A lot of folks on the left view him the same way.
Well, that's a little different, though. This chain of command, that's akin to high treason. You're aiding and abetting an adversary of our country. That's a little different.
I think yelling out that
that's apples to oranges. That's
your opinion.
That's not being a patriot.
Yeah,
that's being a traitor.
That's your opinion. I think yelling out you want to take.
Well, you know what?
Hold on, let me respond.
We will never know.
Let me respond.
Okay.
I think yelling that you're going to take the vice president's life, running in the building looking for him and forcing him to go into hiding is equally as treasonous. That sounds like you're a traitor. Is that patriotic to you, or is that a traitor to your own country? Is that not?
No, it's not patriotic to me.
Right.
And
so,
I've never said that what those people did was a good thing, because I don't think it was. But again, what Milley did was akin to high treason to me, and we will never know now because of what Biden did.
I don't. And see, when you and I where you and I disagree is you're talking about General Milley, what he doing is being high treason. And like I said, I do believe he could have been court-martialed for that. I'm not arguing with you on that. But the idea that you put the citizens chasing the vice president in a lower category, to me, that is just as bad as what Milley did, if not worse. You literally got the vice president running for his life while you are vocally saying you want to take it. That is pretty fucking bad, in my opinion. So I don't see how Milley gets a hierarchy.
Well, because one is a threat, the other is an action. There's two different things there.
He's running.
Okay, you can look at the laws of your own state. Okay, and there's a difference in a crime between threatening somebody and actually doing something to somebody.
If you break in somebody's house and you're literally chasing them out of it, threatening to take their life, that's more than just a threat. That is action. That person had to run to survive. That ain't just a threat at that point.
That we know of. You know what? We can speculate on what they would have done or could have done. I'm not going to do that.
The fact that the Secret Service believed his life was in danger is all you need to know. They believed he was in danger.
The Secret Service is paid to do their job, is to protect somebody.
The Secret Service, they're at an inauguration or whatever. There's no reason to run out of the building. They would not have done that if these people were not flooding the building, threatening to kill the guy. So the Secret Service believed his life was in danger.
Well, that's their job. If somebody comes in that's not authorized to be there, they're supposed to pull them out.
So that shows it's more than a threat. They're acting on it. They really believe this was a legitimate issue.
It doesn't matter if it was or if it wasn't. That's their job, is to get him out.
Okay, you and I just vehemently disagree on that.
I've had intimate discussions about this with my cousin, who is a Secret Service agent. Okay? That's their job. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do to get him out.
Yeah, you and
Unlike what they did for Trump when during that little rally when they knew something was going on and they did nothing.
Yeah, you and I totally disagree on this. To me, if you're threatening to take somebody's life while actively, there's one thing if you're making a phone call or putting a letter in the mail, but when you're only a few hundred feet away from this person and you're literally chasing them throughout the building trying to find where they're located at and they got to run and cower to get away from you, that's more than a threat at that point. That's way more than a threat.
That's fine. We can agree to disagree on that part, but I think what's more important here is those pardons that should have never been pardons. Preemptive pardons should not even be allowed.
But you think the guy who threatened to take the vice president's life, that was okay to pardon that person?
That's not me. I didn't do the pardoning, dude.
No, but I asked you.
About what Biden.
No, but I asked you, were they good pardons?
I was going to roll back to Trump, but Trump.
Because wait a minute, hold on. You rolled it to Biden. I went with Biden. We discussed Biden in detail, all about his son and everything. We started out with Trump, and you rolled it away from him to Biden. We entertained Biden. But then when we go to Trump, you want to go back to Biden again.
Because I think that's the more important of the two.
That's your opinion, though.
Yes, it is my opinion.
All right.
Am I not allowed to have my own opinion on something?
Yeah, you absolutely are always on this show. You know I welcome your opinion, but the idea that you're all over Milley and you're okay with these pardons where they're threatening to kill the vice president, yeah, we agree to disagree on that. I mean, the guy literally got the VP running for his life, and you're like, it's okay to pardon that guy.
Well, you know what? They did it to Trump where they burned him down into the bunker on that other one that I told you about with May 29th when Trump went down in the bunker. You know what the news did then, right? They laughed at him. They made fun of him. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
That doesn't matter. Those people didn't matter when they had the president in the bunker because they feared for his life. That don't matter.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Of course you don't remember it because it wasn't publicized that often. It wasn't that big of a deal to people.
Here's the issue I have, though, and I mentioned this to you earlier. If everybody who went to jail, like I said, I don't care if you got a speeding ticket or you got charged with a double homicide. If you can use somebody else that did the same thing you did in the past and did not get charged as an excuse, everybody would get away with what they did. And no matter, I don't care what crime you go out and commit. There is somebody else in America that did that and didn't get charged. So we go riot and all of a sudden I bring up Black Lives Matter. Or if they go after the VP, you bring up what happened to Trump. I mean, anybody could do that. You would never lock anybody up if you allowed them to bring up other cases anywhere in America that they could use.
Well, let me tell you who is definitely getting away scot-free, and that is the Biden family.
I think,
or the Biden crime family as we have come to know them.
And you don't think the J6 people are getting away like that? All of them didn't even go to jail.
You know what? At this point, who cares, right? Biden showed everybody it don't freaking matter. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever the hell you want. And you know what? They're going to pardon your ass anyway.
And you don't think Trump is doing the same thing?
You're part of the elite.
And you don't think Trump is doing...
Remember what he said. Remember what Biden said. That is, them taking those pardons was not an admission of guilt. But anybody from January 6th that took a pardon was an absolute admission of guilt. So just to show that if you're an elite member of society, if you're connected to the president, you can get away with whatever you want to do.
Well,
because his whole family must have done something to bring it back 11 years.
When you point that out, that's similar to what I think, wasn't it Trump that said if you plead the fifth, it means you work for the mob or you got something to hide. Then all of a sudden he started pleading the fifth. I mean, these people lie, man. They tell lies.
Well, no, you guys said that Biden was honest. He's an honest man.
You didn't hear that from me.
He's so much. I know, but I've heard it from so many people. But Biden was this great president, wonderful man. He's honest Joe.
Before I move it on, let me explain to you, I think, why that's happening. I've said this before many times. Trump probably says about 20,000 words for every word that Biden says because he holds so many rallies, far more public appearances and things like that, which can be a good thing, talking to the people. But the problem with Trump is if you tell a lie, you literally go on tour with that lie, kind of like a comedian that goes from one improv to another one, because Trump holds so many public meetings and he keeps repeating the same thing over. Anything he's repeating over and over again, that's a lie. But he tells a lot more lies than Biden. So that's why people say that Biden comes across as honest and Trump lies, is because Trump is talking to people more, saying more words, and he's getting out the same lie over and over again, where Biden is just not doing that. I'm not saying Biden is innocent.
Because he couldn't say words. He kept stumbling over every time he had a speech. There was always a gaffe in there somewhere.
Whatever you want to go with. I'm not going to argue that, but I'm simply saying Trump speaks a lot more than Biden, and Trump says a lot of things that often are not true.
He did speak a lot more than Biden, but one could argue that the cognitive decline that they said Biden wasn't having was being covered up by the fact that they weren't letting him speak.
Yeah. I don't know if they were,
which would make sense.
Yeah, well, like I said, maybe that's a good thing on his part because he would have had the same lie total as Trump, which is pretty dismal. I got to move it on, Twisted. Go ahead.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. You made it hard. You didn't make that easy.
I never do.
Goodbye.
But I will say this.
Go ahead.
Right here. Just remember that Elon was your hero a few years ago. So was Joe Rogan, and as soon as they switched sides, y'all hated him.
And probably in about 6 months, I'm gonna throw that same phrase right back at you, because Elon ain't gonna be your hero soon. I'm gonna throw it right back at you. I gotta go.
All right.
I'm telling you, Elon Musk, I'm gonna throw that right back at you because he ain't gonna be your hero soon. Tap the screen, folks. What does that say? Michael says, "Give me Biden in a casket before Trump in office." Damn. Neither of them have been my hero, says So Sabrina. Well, the right does view Elon Musk as a hero. When he came on the scene, started putting a ton of money behind Trump, attacking libs and shit like that. The right, but I do believe 6 months, a year max. I don't think Elon Musk is going to be so favorable in the MAGA circles, because him and Trump. I think a butting of heads is imminent. Will G says we have already normalized that Trump is a madman that wants kangaroo courts. To me, if you're focusing on an administration of a bunch of loyalists, yeah, that's kangaroo shit, because I don't, Trump could be an effective leader. We can talk about that, but I do believe he is intentionally surrounding himself with a bunch of yes men. If he does everything right, that could be cool. But if he's surrounding himself with people that are not going to tell him the truth, that means if he makes a mistake, they ain't going to tell him either. And that could be a problem. Like I said, if he learned everything he needed to learn from his first term and he's a much better leader now, Maybe. But no one person knows every facet of American government. You need to surround yourself with what he promised the first time, the best and brightest. He's not doing that this time. He's surrounding himself with loyalists. I don't think Pete Hegseth would qualify as the best and brightest, even if you believe Pete Hegseth is qualified. He ain't the best and brightest, though. So he's picking people that are going to be loyal, not that are going to be heavily qualified. I don't know if that counts as a DEI hire, but it certainly is not picking people based on merit. And that's what he's doing. Anyway, looking in the comments, Elon knows where the bodies are. Going nowhere. He owns Trump, says Furback. Does he know where all the bodies are buried? He may know where a few. You know somebody who would really know where the bodies are buried, in my opinion? Bannon. Somebody like Steve Bannon, I think, would know more. And him and Elon don't get along because they had some choice words for each other again today, too. I didn't even cover that in this show. But him and Elon don't get along. So Elon is slowly disintegrating amongst their high ranks of MAGA. So him and Trump, in my opinion, still get along. But the fact that he did what Trump is celebrating, this $400 billion or whatever it is, that is going to be put up on this. So for him to come out within 24 hours and say that money ain't real, he called it ridiculous. He said something like, I wrote it down, something like, don't take this seriously is what he said. So while Trump is bragging about all this money coming in, Elon is telling people, don't even take this seriously. Within 24 hours, that's got to piss off Trump. I mean, that's literally like pissing on his parade at this point. Anyway, looking in the comments, two schmotzies can't get along, says Mark. People are saying that Elon just has Asperger's syndrome, and that was harmless. So they're saying it's wrong to say he's a schmotzi. Paul Warner says, we are people. We are not colors. I really wish you was around about 100 years ago. You could have came in handy. I wish a lot of the folks that favor these, defending statues, Trump wants to rename one of the military bases back after these generals. They all saw color. And for some reason, the right seems to love these people, even though they all did. I wish you was around about 100 years ago. You could have been a very big help, because they all saw color back then. Continuing on with the program, going to one of my subs there, Michael. I almost brought you up, Mike, because you and Twisted would have been good friends. I almost brought you up with my last caller.
Man, no, that's not going to work, me and Twisted, because Twisted leaves out so many details. So let's go back real quick before we get to your topics.
Sure.
Number one, when you talk about pardons, there's a huge difference. One of the huge differences is the people that Trump just pardoned had all been convicted and sentenced and were in prison, as opposed to the preemptive pardons. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So he can't, that's a false equivalency, because they were in prison for what they did. Number two, do you know who Maga Granny is? Do you know who Maga Granny is?
No.
Maga Granny, her name is Mrs. Hemphill. I think her first name was Patricia, whatever. She was sentenced to 2 months in prison.
That's the one they tried to say was in jail for a long time.
She was in prison for 2 months, but she has come out against these pardons.
Really? I want. What did she say?
She said we were wrong. Matter of fact, what did I tell you? Matter of fact, I'll tell you right. You want me to quote it?
Yeah, go ahead.
She says accepting a pardon would only insult the Capitol Police officers' rule of law and, of course, our nation. I pled guilty because I was guilty, and accepting a pardon also would serve to contribute to their gaslighting and false narrative. Those are her words.
How old is Maga Granny? I don't want her to go away from natural causes all of a sudden.
71.
Wow.
Boise, Idaho is where she's from. Okay? So listen, that's her saying it, not me. She was a former Trump supporter. She went to prison, and she said she wouldn't have accepted the pardon because she was guilty.
Yeah, I see an article here where it says she even told Trump to not use her for political points. I don't know if let me see. I've heard somebody mention her, and they said that They claim that she never went into the Capitol building, and she had been in there for she was still in prison for 3 years, and I was able to look it up that night and prove it wrong. I just didn't know who the woman is, but this is the same woman they were talking about, trying to say that he needed to pardon these people because of that.
That's her. That's her. Look, so let's switch over to Foxconn real quick.
Sure.
Because he tried to bash Travel Man about what he said, but what he didn't mention about Foxconn was, you remember Trump, it was supposed to be the 8th wonder of the world, 13,000 jobs, right?
Right.
That has never materialized. Matter of fact, Foxconn has been sued, right, for breach of their contract because it's taken so long. It's been narrowed down. They said at best they might have 1,300 jobs of just warehouse work, not this huge data center that they were talking about. So, but see, Twisted left that part out.
And I didn't know that.
He didn't say that part.
Yeah,
but he didn't say that. Not only did he not say that, he sat here and tried to make Travel Man seem like he wasn't educated, but he left that part out of his story.
This is why I favor a free speech, open forum program, because both sides get to state their points, and it's amazing at how many people get corrected on the left and the right. So I don't know enough about it, and I made it clear I didn't know enough about it from when it came up to really counter any of these points.
And here's the thing, as we should, if we're not accurate and somebody can come up and give a credible source and credible information, the whole point is to get the information out. It's not about being right? It's about getting information out.
Well, you know how it is now. Everybody want to win, so.
Yeah, and listen, and look what that got us. What that just got us.
Yeah.
A win. Because like you said, he did win. So you did, but you were talking about the whole Elon thing and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I give it till March. I told you that when I give it till March. But somebody in the comments, I think it was Penny Furback, said it. It's going to be tough because he does know where the bodies are buried, right?
That quick? He ain't been around Trump that long. He was endorsing Ron DeSantis a year or so ago.
But I'm talking about the deep bodies, which means this election. You don't forget. Anybody wants to fact check me on this? Just Google Donald Trump Jr. and Elon Musk interview. When Elon Musk said to Don Jr., "Boy, I hope your dad wins," because he was talking about going to prison. He says, "How much time do you think I'll get in prison if he doesn't win?" And they kind of jokingly laughed. But you never remember that interview?
I remember somebody talking about. We're not talking about Elon Musk going to prison, are we?
No, Elon said it. Elon said it to Don Jr. in the interview. This was when all that Pennsylvania and him doing the whole $1 million and getting the giveaway, all of that stuff. When he sat down with John Jr., they were laughing, and he said, "Yeah, man, I hope your dad wins, or I'm probably be going to prison. How much time do you think they'll give me?" You never saw that?
Yeah, I don't remember hearing it the way you said. So you're saying that Elon Musk said he hopes that Trump wins, otherwise Elon would go to prison?
Yes, and Elon said, either I'm going to go to prison. Elon said it himself.
So you believe Elon's committed some crimes?
100%. Well, listen, I didn't say it. Elon said it. I didn't say it. Elon said it. And then when Trump just said during his inauguration speech, what did he talk about? All the help, and Elon sure does know the system, and he sure knows all of this stuff.
I gotta say though, I think this is kind of a moot point at this point because Trump got so much control of the mechanisms of government that even if the bodies that are buried came to the surface, you think the Supreme Court and all of them are going to really convict them?
Well, no, I don't know about all of that,
Yeah.
but I guess the point is when you talk about them starting to fall out, right?
Yeah.
Between those two, you know how people get, man. You know people get to snitching, man. They start.
Yeah, but Trump is. I think it's safe to say Trump is snitch proof. We've seen so many folks around Trump operate on behalf of Trump, pay a huge price, but it never sticks to Trump. So if him and Elon get into it, and the bodies that are buried come to the surface, it would probably get Elon. Trump is okay. I mean, they're gonna protect Trump. Nobody's going to convict Trump, at least in the next 4 years for certain. He ain't getting in trouble. Not to mention he can pardon himself.
He could, exactly. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that any of that wouldn't happen, but this infighting this whole dick measuring contest that they're about to get into is going to get ugly.
Oh,
right?
Elon might have a bigger dick right now with the money, but Trump got the best bitches. I mean, he got the government behind him. So, I'm working with 5 inches, but I got half of the Playboy Mansion on my side. So I don't think that like Trump has to worry.
Yeah, but I heard you say earlier. But listen, he might have them now, but Elon has enough money to buy them all.
Yeah.
and you said there is nobody that can't be bought.
Yeah, but then when you talking about, now you talking about buying judges,
endless
though.
Money, huh?
Now you talking about buying judges, though. That's a little different.
You think so? Why not? So you can buy the president, but not judges?
It's kind of legal to buy the president. It ain't legal as much to buy the judges.
Well, I would offer you Clarence Thomas.
You would win that. You would win that argument.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clarence is, and probably Alito too, but Clarence is definitely for sale.
That's my point. So you don't think he got enough? If he was bought by them billionaires, you don't think Elon could buy them?
Elon, I think if Elon and Trump fell out, Trump would probably come up with some kind of bullshit to seize his bank accounts.
I think Elon, he can't touch Elon. He not when it comes to that. I think Elon's smart enough to buy everybody on that level if he wanted to, and he may have.
Is it not insane that one man has this much fucking power that we actually?
Yep.
I mean, the only reason it makes him able to challenge the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the country on the planet, is because he got a bunch of money. I mean, he literally has enough money that he can threaten world leaders and world governments just because he got that much money.
That's right. And
that's insane.
And the irony is they handed him a lot of this money since the election. What did his net worth do since the election? So you asked me a long time ago, for $450 million that he put into the Trump campaign, this is his payoff. So they can come out and make a statement. The Trump campaign could come out and make a statement and say, don't listen to him, listen to Trump. They're only going to get there. That's the mulligan. I guarantee you. They're not going to get to say that publicly without Elon responding. And you remember what he said to Steve Bannon when he came after him?
Yeah, fuck you. You say fuck yourself in the face?
In the face. Right. He says, and we can go to war at this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and when's the last time you heard Steve Bannon say anything?
Today. They got into another spat.
Exactly. He did say something today, right? So, and we're going to see what happens to this. We are watching all of this infighting, which I kind of expected, right? I kind of expected it to be infighting.
It happened last time.
It's right on schedule.
Yeah, it happened last time.
The difference is you're infighting with somebody that has enough resource to do
fight
whatever.
Back, to do some,
right?
Yeah, to do some serious damage.
That's why Vivek is out of the damn way.
Shout out to Vivek. Yeah, he saw the writing on the wall. Like I can go, hold down Ohio by myself. I can be my own boss. I ain't got to deal with this shit.
What do you mean shout out? Oh, you think he did that voluntarily?
I think it's in his best interest.
That's not what I
don't even think they like his. I don't even think they like his fucking wife. Why are you? You can go chill in Ohio. Y'all gonna get plenty of paper. Get out of this Washington mess. It will give you a little bit of distance from this shit, and you'll still be able to make paper. You'll still be able to say you down with MAGA without actually having to be in there putting in work.
Look, he didn't get out voluntarily. Elon said, look, this ain't going to work. And listen, and he didn't have the complexion for the protection, and get your ass out of here. That's exactly what happened.
Well, I think Elon did him a favor if that's the case.
Oh, I do too for him. I don't give a shit about him. But him, Tim Cotton, Byron McDonald's, all of them is on that same complexion ride. They can sit their ass down somewhere because it was never intended for them, Tim. Come on now.
What are you trying to you trying to make Elon Musk sound like he cares about skin color or something?
Yeah, I am. I am. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I thought
all of them. Listen. I told you that when JD Vance was talking about his wife as a third person, talking about his kids as her kids. That was really strange, but they don't like that either. That they don't fit the long-term narrative, Tim.
Maybe JD Vance might end up becoming the governor.
Okay, or we'll see how long he stays. But listen, We'll see. We don't even talk about him anymore.
No, we don't. No, we don't. You don't hear nothing about him at all. I mean,
you don't hear nothing about him at all. And I'm going to say this. You had two questions for tonight, too. The other one was this. This is what I wanted to say to you and say to people, even everybody's listening. If you want to understand the impact of this mass deportation, whether he does it all or does a little bit, just the fear factor is already taking shape. And every time I come on, I try to give you more information, right? Because I'm in California. Okay. And I'm very close to the Central Valley.
They're fine. They're okay with people being scared. They kind of want that, but go ahead.
But the problem is when you're afraid and people run, there's nobody there to take care of this industry that we're looking at. There's nobody, all of these migrants and undocumented people that they've all known existed, and they're getting that labor for cheap. When these hotels can't stay open, you got 2 million in California alone in the hospitality industry. Alone. If they lost 10% of that workforce, it would be billions of dollars to the economy. They're not, and people are not showing up to work already.
Why would? Because they may get deported.
Would you show up somewhere where you thought they would come snatch you?
And because they're threatening to do raids and shit like that. Yeah, I guess that is a good point. Why I'm not gonna turn myself in. Yeah.
Wow. Why would you do that? You're gonna go somewhere. You're gonna disappear in your community as much as you can to avoid it. Especially when they're talking about doing it. And where's the humanity? I told you that the other day. Where's the humanity in all of these executive orders? Equal opportunity, executive order to get rid of that.
This is almost sounding like the diary of Annalisa Frank or some shit. I mean, it's crazy. It's sounding just like that. Where you gonna have? I mean, because they got they're talking about creating potentially hotline numbers and things like that. I mean, it sounds real close to some 1930s Germany shit where you turning in people and they're gonna be hiding out, hoping not to get caught. I mean, it sounds. Only difference is you're not sending them to die. But I mean, you're sending them to a camp, or you're going to be sending them to a facility before you deport them. But it sounds a whole lot like that.
And if you treat people like that, do you think they're making these facilities comfortable for them?
No, hell no.
Of course, exactly. That's
gonna be like Sheriff Jeremiah. And I see in the comments somebody corrected me. Derek says Anne Frank. No, I said Annalisa for a reason. I'm using a Hispanic name. I know what I'm doing. Yeah. I said Annalisa for a reason.
Annalisa Frank.
Yeah, Annalisa Frank. I didn't misstep that. I knew what I was doing. So.
I know you. Listen. It's funny that you say that, but at the end of the day, when we talk about humanity, when we talk about the impact of all of these things, what I'm saying, and this is what I want people like Twisted to understand, and Fancy Prancy, just what we're talking about is not. It's what's happening. It's not necessarily Trump. It's what's happening. Take the name out of it and just focus on what's happening. Take the name out and focus on. Matter of fact, I know MAGA Reacts is still in here. MAGA Reacts. Go to your boys. Go to whitehouse.gov. Look at the initiatives and go look at his plan for California and the water and all. And read all of that, MAGA Reacts. And next time we come on live, you're going to see exactly what I was telling you about. They have no clue what they're talking about. Fish before people. You know that's what they say, right?
The smelt.
I mean, people before, people before fish. But they don't understand the importance of the smelts in the ecosystem and the early warning system they give to water levels, water quality. They don't understand any of that. They just go people before fish, and people go, yeah, hell yeah, I want to be considered before fish, and they don't because that's what they do, right?
I gotta give Trump credit though. He know how to make shit sound right though. I mean, he's really good at it.
Until it all bottoms out, and then he sticks around. You remember? He reminds me of Linus from Charlie Brown.
Barely.
Well, no, not Linus. Pigpen. Remember Pigpen?
Yeah, the guy with dust always falling. Yeah, the guy.
Yeah, that's Trump. He always got a cloud of shit around him. Always. He is Pigpen at his finest. It's never. Listen, if he does something clean and good for the people, I will be the first one to admit it. But I just don't have any empirical data that he will or he has. Don't.
Get Trump a chance. I got to move on, but give him a chance. We got 4 more years maybe some of the dust that hovers around Pigpen will fall off, and he'll just be. Maybe he'll fall into a washing machine or something. Give him a chance. He might come out clean.
I'm treating Trump like a baby mama. I shouldn't have did it, and I ain't fucking with her no more.
Been there, done that. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right, and I think what he's saying is a hell of a lot of us can relate to that. Oh my God. Real quick in the comments, Will G says Elon is apartheid. He believes black people don't belong anywhere. Does Elon have any black associates? I don't know enough about Elon to respond to that, but that's a pretty strong statement. You're saying Elon Musk is apartheid. He believes black people don't belong anywhere. I've not even heard somebody say that that's something that bad about Trump. That's really bad. Damn. Yikes. You also said, so you are saying Elon may be another Michael Cohen. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that happening. I could absolutely see that happening. I mean, look, let's just be honest. Whether you like Trump or not, I'm not here to, we're not talking about that right now. I'm just going to simply say this. Even if, let's say Trump is the best president since Ronald Reagan or whatever you want to call it. Let's say he is a great president. Fact is, he finds ways to fall in bad favor with people. Even among the right. Take the liberals out of it. I get the liberals don't like Trump. We know how that works. But there's a lot of folks on the right that do not, even on his administration and things like that. People just fall out of favor with him. So, that the idea that Elon Musk, I really feel that he could be like him and Michael Cohen were hanging around, 20 years? 20 years him and Michael Cohen were working together. He was his lawyer for 20 years, I think Michael Cohen said. And look where they are now. I mean, Trump is just because of how he talks to people. And if the shit hits the fan, you can't always feel confident he has your back. Now, he definitely looked out for the J6 people. I get it, but that was pretty easy. Just sign up, with a pen. You didn't have to put up any money or do anything. It's just a signature. But Rudolph Giuliani had his back. He ain't looking out for him. Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, had his back. I don't hear him bragging about what he did for him. He'll never be to pay Fox News back that $750 million they lost, looking out for him. They just jumped on the bandwagon and started echoing what he was saying about the election, and it cost them $750 million. So did, was it Newsmax or OAN? Smartmatic, Dominion voting machine. So, I can see him. I mean, it's just a lot of folks have gotten in trouble riding with Trump. And once that happens, he does not always have your back, which is what I was telling one of my callers earlier, is that if Elon knows where the bodies are buried and they get into a entanglement of sorts and awful secrets come out about Trump, Elon, maybe some of them being criminal, I think Trump would survive and Elon would be hoping to survive, because that's generally how it happens. Even with the fake electors scandal, Trump is involved in that too. And he didn't even get charged. I don't think he got the mugshot, but that was about it. Everybody else was pleading guilty and all that. Now they don't get rid of Fonnie Willis, so that ain't going nowhere now. But he was probably gonna survive that too. But the other co-conspirators, probably not. Probably not. Looking at, because some of them lost their law license behind it, didn't they? I don't think they're going to get that back, even though Fonnie Willis is gone. Some of them pled guilty already. And they lost, one of the girls, the one who took the really pretty smiling mugshot, later was crying and talking about she just, bought what Trump was saying, hook, line, and sinker. She lost her law license. She was like in her early 30s. So she wasn't like Giuliani or somebody or Sidney Powell that aren't going to practice anyway anymore because they're rich and old. This girl was kind of just starting her career. And she got caught up in that fake elector scandal. Lost her law, got disbarred. She can't be a lawyer anymore. Looking in the comments, you lost the culture war for a reason too. And that was a huge part of Kamala losing. True. I think the everything from a woman's right to choose to being an ally of the LGBT community, the country went sharply right on a lot of those social issues. And the left was still on a progressive stance. The country is enough of the country, I won't say all of it, but enough of the country has went right so that it's going to be a difficult time for folks who are far left progressives. It's probably going to have to be somebody that's moderate left. Now, the left is always going to be an ally of the LGBT community. But chances are during the next election, they're not going to say it very much. You're not going to see a bunch of trans, what is it, the light blue and pink flags. They're not going to have any of that at the rallies or the conventions. It'll be one of those things where we got your back, but we can't publicly say it because you guys are an unpopular group right now. Because the transgender people definitely hurt the Democratic Party. I won't say it cost them the election, but it was part of it. So my guess is in the midterms and in the 2028 elections, you won't hear the Democrat Party standing up for transgender much at all. You just won't, because they hurt them. They represent such a tiny part of the population, but they cause big problems among Democratic voters or people voting for Democrats. So look, we can't put all this risk defending this tiny part of the population. So it won't come up. What else did they get hammered on? Obviously, the border is something that should have been done, but defending some of this, the pro-choice thing, I think you'll still see that, because I do believe that most Americans do believe a woman should have at least some access to pro-choice rights. And I would not be surprised if over the next 4 years, the ability for a woman to terminate a child gets less and less and less. Right now, they're talking about states' rights. I expect that to get bigger. I expect the limitations on it in some of the states to get greater. I expect that to get worse. So I do believe that will be still on the. I think, in fact, I believe women are going to bring that up, kind of like Second Amendment rights. Every election, the Second Amendment is on the ballot. Every election, the right will tell you that whoever the liberal is running for office, they're going to interfere with your Second Amendment rights. And that's going to happen with pro-choice. Every election, until women get their right to do that again, they're going to bring that up against the Republican candidate. And eventually, I think they'll win. I don't know how far down the line, but eventually I think they'll win. Will G says they say half of Trump's POTUS pick looks like Biden. Huh? Half of Trump's POTUS picks look like Biden. What do you mean, the Supreme Court picks? What are you talking about? I don't get that one. Let me go back to the box. I seen her working at Burger King now and doing $40 favors. Oh, come on, big dog. Are you talking about Kamala Harris? You seen Kamala Harris working at Burger King and doing $40 favors. What are those favors, by the way? What is this, the Willie Brown with cheese? Going back to the box, what are those favors? I want to know. Dencal, what are those favors? Hopefully it brings Dencal up. Good evening.
What's going on?
Not much at all, man. I know you are aware of the pardons. What's your take on it? I mean, Trump says they served enough time in jail already.
I think that was horrible to paint all of them with the same broad brush. They all were treated unfairly. They all look. I get it. If he would have separated all of the ones, except for the ones who did violent crime, all of the ones that we know that already admitted to seditious conspiracy, because that's what he said right before the election. He said, "We'll take a look at it."
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to say after they questioned why he pardoned some folks that were committing acts of violence, and he goes, "Well, I want to take a look at that. It's useless now. What good does it do to take a look at something you already pardoned the guy?"
Right. And they said when they were talking to him when it was the 11th hour and it was time for him to make the decision, and he hadn't made a decision, and they said, "What do you want to do, sir? You want to take a look at it?"
He said, "Fuck it, let them all out."
He said, "Fuck it, let them all out."
My guess is, they claim Trump doesn't like to read and look at all of the fine print on a lot of stuff. My guess is doing an individual analysis of 1,500 people, whether they should be pardoned or not. He's like, fuck it, I ain't going to do all that shit. Just let them all out.
He wouldn't have had to do it. He could have said, look, separate all of the violent ones. He didn't have to go through 1,500.
Yeah.
He could have said, the people who we got recordings of them plotting a conspiracy that ended up falling in my name, they should stay in jail. Yeah. Because he got blamed for the stuff. If he really did not have nothing to do with it, and them people did something on his behalf, he should have been pissed at them.
Yeah. Well,
But I just wanted to take like one quick minute because they were talking about, well, the Biden crime family. I just wanted to. It was a quick Google search. Mm-hmm. I put up.
Did I catch you eating dinner, man? It's like you eating.
No, I was eating the dang on
okay, go ahead.
Lollipop.
All right, go ahead.
And so this was a couple of the people. Michael Ashley was convicted of bank fraud over the 2009 collapse of mortgage company. Mm-hmm. He was executive vice president. He was ordered to pay $49 million in restitution and $800,000 in forfeiture. Commuted. Steve Bannon, we all know he was a part of the build the wall thing.
Yeah, he just robbed. Yeah, Steve Bannon just robbed a bunch of people.
Yeah, $25 million from Trump supporters. They don't care about that.
Damn, that's how much he got?
The campaign, no, they raised more than $25 million. Oh. And he used hundreds of thousands for personal expenses. Now he would have easily gotten to the million, but he got caught.
And he only got like 4 months for that.
Right. He received a full pardon and he didn't face any time.
I thought he went in for what was it, for not cooperating? Steve Bannon did some time. He went in jail for something.
Right. Let me see. Dr. Fortista Burnett, a retired anesthesiologist, was sentenced last year.
Now you tell me these are people that Trump is pardoning. You're talking right now, right? All these are part. Okay, go ahead.
Right. 15 months in federal prison for taking part in the long-running healthcare fraud scam where he authorized sham contracts and concealed over $30 million in illegal kickback payments to physicians. The overall scheme resulted in more than $900 million in fraudulent bills being submitted. Pardon. Carl Andrews pled guilty to federal charges stemming from criminal investigation and illegal use of disadvantaged business enterprise, laundering conspiracy. Pardon.
Well, let me interrupt to say this. When you factor in that Biden got rid of the federal death penalty, he pardoned murderers. Like everybody, he pardoned a bunch of murderers.
Right. I didn't even get to the good one. Just give me one more minute. Let me see. This guy, Jonathan Braun, imported marijuana worth approximately $1.76 billion, according to Customs and Border, including 2,200 pounds in a single incident. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 10 years. He commuted his sentence. Elliot Broidy, one of Trump's top fundraisers, was pardoned. He pled guilty in October to conspiring to violate foreign lobbying laws. Prosecutors said the scheme aimed to have the Trump administration sink an investigation into a multi-billion-dollar looting of Malaysian state investment fund.
But
we know about
it's a bunch of financial crimes.
Lil Wayne, he got caught carrying firearms on his private jet by a felon. Now they're talking about Biden's son because he.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point.
Paper. Yeah. What was it was another good one. I mean, but it's hundreds of these people.
But the thing about it is, I can't really speak on it because I'm sure that they could point out some bad pardons from Biden. Certainly just the ones in the federal penitentiary that were on death row. I mean, Biden's pardons, in my opinion, are worse because them are murderers we're talking about.
You said Biden?
Biden got rid of the death, and I'm not a fan of death row anyway. I don't believe in capital punishment, but I'm simply saying that by Biden commuting. I think only 3 people, the Boston bomber, three folks that were everybody else on federal death row, he took off. So you only go on death row if you killed somebody. So Biden pardoned a bunch of murderers.
But saying that he doesn't believe that we have the authority to take another person's life.
I get all of that.
It's totally different. It's totally different. It would have been different if he would have said, "Let them all out." Then I would agree with you.
Yeah, but I gotta push back for the simple fact that you got families out there that these people have killed, and now they gotta have those wounds open because they thought this guy's fate had been sealed. They don't went to court on behalf of their loved one. They watched the judge rule that this guy is going to be put to death. That is over with. They know the guy's sitting somewhere on death row. It's over. And all they're waiting for is a call whenever it comes that says the state has executed this guy. Now you don't open all these wounds up because all of these families know that guy is going to live a long life. I mean, those are Biden pardons.
Yeah, but you're talking about more of a democratic platform saying that we don't believe in capital punishment.
But you're hurting a lot of people, Cal. A lot of those families. You're hurting people.
No shit. Didn't you just hear me say that the people were scamming all of the hospitals for billions of dollars?
Yeah, but you're talking murder. You're talking murderers. You're talking murderers.
Attempted murderers don't count, right?
Yeah, that counts too, but we're talking actual murderers.
So the people who sat there and planned and who was about to murder the
I'm not defending the pardoning of the January 6th protesters, but we're talking murderers, though.
Okay, but I'm just saying, listen, the argument was not the one that you're making right now. The one you're making is not the one that MAGA is making.
No.
They're saying that Joe Biden pardoning his family is somehow equal to releasing all of the people, seditious conspiracy, all of that stuff. People haven't been adjudicated in a court of law. That's somehow the same, and the reason why he's justified in doing it. When I'm going back to what Trump did way before Biden, where he was releasing all of these criminals and everything, and they didn't have a problem with none of that.
Well, that's the hypocrisy. Yeah, that's the hypocrisy. Just like,
that's what I wanted to,
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The BLM people were terrorists when they were doing all this, and all of a sudden when they're rioting, they're patriots. I don't disagree with that part. Yeah, I mean,
that's all I wanted to state. Is I just wanted to get a couple of people on record. Well, I'm talking about people that were in his administration who were doing things on his behalf to other countries when they started. Trump administration sinking investment into a multi-billion-dollar looting of Malaysian state investment fund. That means that was those people's retirement fund. Yeah. Those was people's livelihoods.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying the people around Trump are trying to get paid. I mean, there's a lot of financial issues, financial crimes, financial grifts.
They're not trying. They doing.
Yeah, they getting. Which is why I can understand why people will hang around Trump. I mean, you get rich hanging around him. There's a lot of financial grifting going on.
And then you tell them, look, the reason why he did this for these people is because their names were fucking on a list that were actually in the hands of the people he's putting in charge of the State Department, the DOJ, and he's telling them to go after these people, and they talking about, well, if they didn't do nothing, why did, I mean, that is crazy.
I heard him say that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's why I use the bulletproof glass analogy. Like, it doesn't matter if you did anything or not. If people are telling you, you got a bullseye on your back, you got to do something about that. You don't just walk around, well, I ain't done nothing wrong. They are after you. They're saying they're after you.
And I say the most despicable thing he did was, even though I can't stand John Bolton, removing the security detail of a man that's being targeted by a foreign government is about the most heinous. Yeah. Remember what they said about him, about his security detail when we knew somebody was trying to get him, and it was like, Biden has not given him the security.
That's a great point. That is a great point. He did accuse Biden. That's a great point. He did accuse Biden of deliberately reducing the size of his security detail, putting him in danger. And he got rid of Bolton's security detail entirely.
Right. Knowing that Iran was outwardly said that they was going to get him back for Soleimani, he went at Biden. Now he takes away. Now this is somebody with no ability to hire the kind of security that he's going to need.
Yeah, I don't have any. I mean, there's no legitimate reason other than just being petty and hateful to Ambassador Bolton why you would get rid of his security detail. I mean, when you in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to affect the taxpayers that much. You know, this guy has a legitimate death threat on him. The only reason why and to do it so quick, like on day one, you really have it in for this dude. I mean, you could literally get that man killed.
And what does that say to the Iranians? That's a green light. That's a green light.
I would also wonder, what does that say to people who are serving with Trump? Like him, Mike Pence, because they testified on the January 6th hearing committee that Trump claimed that when he was told that Mike Pence could be in danger, he's like, well, maybe he deserved it. I mean, like, you got to understand, if you work for Trump, if things go south, it's going to go real south. I mean, it's like working for the mob. You know, you do realize if y'all fall out, they usually put you on plastic, right? This doesn't end very well. And that's what is going on with Trump, is like, if it works, you can get rich, you can get a ton of power. But if it doesn't work, it's almost like death. I mean, it's going to be bad. Your career's going to be over with. You might receive a ton of death threats. People are going to be after you. And you can ask a whole lot of people that served in this first administration. Their lives are in bad shape. I mean, Nikki Haley will never be in politics again. I mean, her career is over with. I mean, and she didn't really she served as an administration, but yeah, once you get on the wrong side of him, it's over with.
Right. And you can look through the long laundry list. There are very few people that are still around who has crossed him to the point where you can cross him and get away with it if you got something he needs.
If you come back and kiss a little ass, like Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio, if you come back and admit you were wrong and he was right, you can survive.
Yeah, just the craziest thing ever. And MAGA thinks it's all right to rule like that, like just have everybody fear you, and even they come on this program and act like they scared to say anything. Like
it ain't. They don't view it as fear. I think they see it as respect.
Man, you can call a turd anything you want.
But isn't that what we're talking about doing with Expanding America? Is that a lot of folks, what is this, peace through strength? I think that was what Reagan or Cheney said or something. The MAGA side, they like that. I mean, like, look.
Yeah, but we weren't talking about. We were talking about maybe regime changes in other countries to benefit us. We wasn't talking about taking nobody's sovereign land.
Yeah.
Never. That has never been a part of our political system, is to say, let's look and see what we can take. I mean, but he's always been like that from the beginning, when he was like, when we went to Iraq, we should just take the oil.
Took the oil.
Like, he's been saying that, but even Bush couldn't say that out loud.
But let's be clear. Imagine he's already used executive power to deem the cartels as terrorists. Imagine if he does seize their money. Could that not bring down the price of cereal, or maybe put a little money in your pocket? I mean, he's robbing them, I get it. But if he shares a little bit of that with the American people...
No, he's not. How is that going to help me if he seizes the cartel's money?
Give you a tax cut and use the money to pay for it.
He's not giving me a tax cut. He might change the payroll deduction, but that's not giving me a tax cut. You talking about that 1%? You talking about that 1 to 3% tax cut he gave us?
I'm talking about no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips. Where's the money going to come to replace that? The cartel.
No, the cartel's money is not going to replace hundreds of billions of dollars.
Probably not, but it could be a start. Probably not, but it could be a start. I mean, you're talking about 4 or 5 cartel families. I mean, they got some significant income.
They do, but it's not accessible it's not like a foreign country. Like, we could just go grab, like, a lot of them keep their money in cash, or they got it implanted in banks and organizations that they have no, what do they call it? No, the treaties where they can't
We'll threaten the banks one way or another. We'll get it. We'll threaten it. Like I said, it kind of remind me of the movie Clearing Present Danger, because that's what the guy who was playing the president in the movie said. He was like, "That's our money," and it was because the guy was like, "You trying to make me seize money from the cartel?" He said, "That's our money. Go get it. That's our money."
But I tell you
to
what,
go do it.
They're not about to get bank. They're not about to get no money from Swiss bank accounts and banks over in the Cayman Islands. They pride themselves on their ability to maintain your money without anybody being able to touch it. America can't just go in there. This is talking about international money. I know you keep saying that Trump can just do anything because he can just scare people. There are certain things in the international order that it would behoove him not to do.
While I want to agree with you, the point I'm making is this: if Trump tells let's say a neutral bank like the Swiss or something, you are working with an enemy of the United States. What did George W. Bush say? Either you with the terrorists, or either you with us, or you with the terrorists. Trump is liable to say some crazy shit like that. If you're gonna help fund our enemies or work with our enemies, then we have no other choice but to see you that way.
Right, and you know what they're gonna say? Okay, if that's gonna be the protocol now, all of the American money that's over here, we about to open that up to everybody who want to seize you guys and see what happened with Congress and Elon Musk and all the billionaires who keep their money parked over there in those bank accounts. See what's gonna happen then. It's not gonna happen.
All right. I'm just gonna tell you, if I had $1 for every time somebody said Trump couldn't do something, I'd be doing pretty good, including myself, because I thought he was going to go down with all of them indictments with a 96% conviction rate that the feds have. That guy pulls some magic out of his hat.
Right, and I understand what you're saying, because you're talking from an American perspective, and we tend to think that everything that happens in America is like, if he can do it here, he can do it anywhere. But trust me, the international order is not. It's not going to just allow him to just do whatever. Trust me, Trump could come up missing too.
I don't know about that. That's kind of frightening. I seen it, and I see Sheldon claims you won't be to get your crack anymore. Sheldon won't be to get his crack anymore. I'm like, he's joking with you, but I don't know. Like I said, do not underestimate Trump. I'm just simply saying, when you got
I'm not underestimating him, but I'm not going to overestimate him either. There's a reason why no president in history or no country in history has been able to crack the Swiss bank account or them Cayman Island accounts, and it's not because it wasn't like they just wasn't Trump. I mean, you think Russia or China wouldn't, if they could impress on those people hard enough, they wouldn't be doing it already for them?
All right. I mean, so historically, you make a point, but I'm just simply saying Trump is a new kind of guy. Let's see. I hope you're right.
A new kind of guy. I'm just saying, man. Let's not normalize.
I didn't normalize
giving him king-like powers in a world where he's the only tyrant and everybody else is bowing down. Because you've seen these other countries. Everybody said, okay, you're going to put the tariffs on? We already have a plan to replicate whatever you do to us. So everybody thinking he's just going to scare people and then they're going to bow down and give us what we want, and then he ain't going to have to put the tariffs on. Everybody, if you're the president or a prime minister of a country, you can't just bow down.
I get that, and I agree with that. But I'm gonna use Saddam Hussein as an example. He didn't bow down to George W. Bush either. Look where he's at. I'm not gonna bow down either. They found his ass in a hole and hung him.
It's a different country right now. It's a different. They voted for him. A lot of them, even some of them, I don't believe that they really thought it all the way through. A lot of them say we voted for him to bring peace around the world. He cannot just run out there causing mayhem all around the world and think it's gonna be okay.
I hope he doesn't, but MAGA seems to be okay with him talking about taking on 5 or 6 countries at once.
He won 77 million to 75 million. He got a three seat lead in the House a 4-seat lead and about a 3 or 4 in the Senate. This is not this great mandate that people keep saying over and over again. He won everything. He did everything. This is not that great of a victory.
Well, let's see how it plays out when you got a bunch of loyalists on your team. I got to move it on, Cal, but keep in mind, even though he didn't win by a large margin, the people on his team are ride or die. They really hardcore down with him. So just look at it that way.
Luckily, we didn't get rid of the filibuster.
That might be our only chance. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. And Will G so you're saying you're saying that Trump's pictures that are in the White House look like Biden? Really? Let me make sure I read that right. You said because they give Trump a portrait or whatever. They say half of Trump's POTUS pic looks like Biden. The presidential portrait. I'd have to see it. I haven't seen all over the news. If you squint your eyes on a pic, I'm curious to see let me see if I can find that. Trump's presidential pic. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, Trump is the oldest president to get inaugurated. He's the oldest one. And, and I'll tell you, the crazy thing about it is this. Now, Trump being damn near 80 years of age, it ain't going to be long before, he's a man in declining health. I mean, that's just what kind of happens. And after so many years of making fun of Biden's dementia and things like that, whenever Trump's health starts to decline, people are not going to be kind on him. It's going. I mean, for my MAGA viewers, my beloved MAGA, expect people to be real nasty when his health starts declining, because of how much he made about Biden's health and all of that. People are going to be real nasty to him, and I mean, I hate to say it, but he's kind of earned it. He's kind of earned it, making fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband getting hit with a hammer. I mean, it's not going to be good. I'm just telling you that. Whenever his health starts to decline, I don't care if it's 10, 15 years from now, people are not going to be kind to that dude. Is this the presidential portrait? I mean, this is it. He takes some hardcore looking pictures. I mean, this dude, like, he should be on the front of a NWA album or something, or like, or I guess it would be HWA, but, or something like, something with a parental advisory sticker. I mean, he takes some hardcore looking pictures, like, damn, without no money ain't a damn thing funny. He do look like Biden a little bit. Yeah, I can see some similarities. I mean, obviously gray hair and shit like that. Yeah, I can see it. He don't look as orange there. But before we move on, I'm curious because I know some of you folks haven't seen this in a while. But like I said, the part where they say it's our money, there are so many similarities to clear and present danger to what Trump is talking about. Let me get a sip.
President will see you now, sir.
Jack, I'm glad you're here. Sit down. Can I get you anything? No. Come on, sit down.
I would prefer to stand, sir.
Some things have gone on here.
Okay, that's a different scene. That's after he done already done it. So he done already forced this guy to do some criminal shit. That's after it. But anyway, Tim, stop degrading NWA like that. I said HWA. So I changed the first acronym. I'm going to laugh and jump for, I guess that's jump for joy when the day comes, Jason. What's going to cause you to laugh and what's going to lead you to jump for joy? Trump got rid of that spray tan stuff. Did he? No, I doubt it. My guess is Trump is probably pretty damn pale under under that tan. If you've seen him over all these years with this spray tan on, if he did what you're suggesting, where he's gotten rid of the spray tan stuff, he should be noticeably like a lot different. I mean, he was fucking orange. So if you go from being orange every day to whatever you are naturally, he should look a lot different. Unless he's been permanently tanned, like when Michael Jackson just happened to be orange or something. But if he got rid of it, he should look a lot different. And he doesn't. No, he took a light and put it under his face. That's what it looks like. Well, what was the comedian? I think it might have been Jimmy Kimmel or somebody recently that said his portrait looked like the gates of hell opened up and the lights were shining. I mean, it does look like there's a really bright light under him. It really does. You're going to get copy. Yeah, I didn't play enough of it to get copyrighted, so that should cure that issue. And usually they just say take it out. They got a 3-hour clip. Take out 3-4 minutes. It don't really matter. Is the new orange is the new Black Lives Matter. Black Lives MAGA. There's not enough black people among MAGA to even put that in the conversation. I don't know what the percentage of MAGA is that happens to be African American, but it's so low. Obviously, he doesn't have any members of his administration that are even, that are even black. It's 20% maybe 20%. It's so low. So I don't think that. It's a good joke. It's good for comedy, but that's about it. We're going to comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. What does that say? Wait her stiff neck ass at the. Why are discussions of Diddy parties coming up? Diddy's never getting out. 312 electoral college votes. He smashed it, said Sheldon. How many electoral college votes did Biden get in 2020? Because when folks say that Trump got a mandate and he won by a landslide and all, I don't think he won by much over Kamala Harris by much more than he lost to Biden by. I don't remember how many electoral college votes Biden got, but I think that Biden beat him by just as much, if not more, than he beat Kamala Harris. So as my last caller was saying, if Trump had a mandate, then so did Biden. He did win by a landslide. Can Melania you say Melania rigged the machines? I don't know about that. I think Trump won fair and square. Why didn't Trump put his hand on the Bible? He is not Christian. He's the devil. Damn, Bandito. I don't know why he did not put his hand on the Bible, but I am very surprised that it's not a bigger scandal than it is. I'm really surprised at that because the right would have went ape shit. If Obama, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, or somebody swore in without putting their hand on the Bible, they would have been ape shit about that. And the whole notion where he didn't have enough time is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You can see his photo of him swearing in 2020 or 2016 rather, 2016, January 2017, whatever. He has his hand on the Bible. Melania Trump is wearing like a powder blue outfit or whatever. He has his hand on the Bible, so he knows how the procedure works. And so if the pastor starts too quickly and you want to put your hand on the Bible, you could tell him slow down, or you could. It made no sense. He's clearly standing there with his right hand in the air, his left hand by his side, and Melania Trump's in front of him holding the Bible, and he never makes an attempt to put his hand on it. So any of these cries that it didn't happen for any other reason other than he didn't want to do it are false. He had plenty of time to do it. You can clearly see that in the video. But I know some of the Trump supporters are going to defend him no matter what. Esther, I think that says, one of my subscribers, my team members, good evening, Esther, says he was lying. Yeah, look, if you don't want to swear in the Bible, just come out and say that. To me, the video is obvious what that was. Good evening, Esther. And Dennis Calhoun says MAGA is mad at the pastor for asking for mercy. Oh my God, did they hammer that pastor or what? Esther, are you there? Okay, apparently not. I'll move it on. Yeah, that pastor was pleading with Trump that people feel like their lives are, in danger. the LGBT community and immigrants. And you could see how they all had pissed off looks on their face, like, I cannot believe this broad is in here bringing this bullshit up. And then, of course, when he got out of the church, he went on social media and trashed that pastor. So her pleas fell on deaf ears for real. That didn't do any good at all. Didn't make a damn bit of difference. That went in one ear and out the other one. It pissed him off in the process. He said he thought the service was terrible. Yeah, he did. But he didn't just say he said he thought the service was terrible when he was walking out and the reporters questioned him on it. But then he got on social media and said bad things about the pastor, said she was a Trump hater and she was radical left. He trashed that pastor. That woman looked like just an innocent, sweet lady. He trashed the shit out of her. Bishop, or she was a bishop? Okay, all right. 76 mil out of 335 mil. Trust we outnumber MAGA. Doesn't matter if you outnumber MAGA or not. If you don't show up to vote, you don't count. RSG says deporter. You want to deport the pastor? That's pretty cruel. He said, this is one reason why I always say I don't believe America is really a Christian country. The way we're talking about immigrants and stuff like that, the whole what would Jesus do? It don't sound like Christianity to me. The richest country on earth is going to close its borders and only worry about America first. That sounds like, look, I'm American, but it sounds like some real selfish type shit. We're not going to send money overseas to poor countries, none of that. We're going to focus on our own selves. It is what it is, but it doesn't sound Christian. And I'm not very Christian anymore because of some of the shit I saw here in this country. What does that say there? He said it out of his own mouth. Also, he didn't touch the Bible because he was lying. Yeah, he was lying on the Bible thing. I agree with that. The Bible teaches us to love each other and help those that are less fortunate. And that goes against capitalism. That sounds more like socialism. When you start talking about helping out the less fortunate and all of that. And we are against that in this country. That's why I said I don't see the Christianity thing. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps is not Christian. That's more like don't ask me for shit. I figured out how to get where I'm at, and you need to figure it out too. That doesn't sound very Christian. As I always point out, the way we operate in this country, if you tried to film The Last Supper, we would be charging those folks for the pieces of bread. Wait, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I found a way to make myself a loaf of bread. I'm not going to give it away for free. That's the way we do things. So I don't see the Christianity in it. She does not have the right to use the church to talk about politics or to scold the president. This is separation of church and state. There's a lot of bullshit in that statement there, Anita. You never heard of the 700 Club? Jerry Falwell, you're going to tell me all of a sudden this pastor is where you draw the line about talking about politics in churches? I've actually seen churches myself as an over-the-road driver. I remember seeing a church during the Obama administration when the whole birther issue was coming up. The church, you see a church, it'll have a sign out in front that says, what time service is, or sometimes they have religious slogans on them. This church literally had the phrase, vote for the American on there. I've seen plenty of churches with religious messages. In fact, the Democrats tend to go to churches in the black community to get our votes. Plenty of politics go on in churches. So, the idea that all of a sudden this woman started pleading with Trump, well, we don't need politics in churches. Well, shit, when did that start? We've always had it in churches. So I'm not going to all of a sudden give Trump some kind of credit with that, because there's a whole lot of churches that are pro-life and lean right, and we didn't have any problem with it until she comes along. The left is having a hard time dealing with the election. Paul Warner, you're right. There are people on the left that has a hard time with Trump winning. 4 years ago, it was just the opposite. That happens. That happens. When Obama won, people thought the country was going to be destroyed. There were people who had a hard time with that election. That happens. So this time it's in favor of your side. Next time it may be the other way around. I thought Trump is the Messiah. Laughing my ass off. That's mixing church and state. I'll tell you right now, with so many states requiring that they pull curriculum out of the Bible, church and state, the lines between church and state are getting blurry real fast. 10 Commandments in schools and shit now. They're blurring the lines between those two things a lot now. So it is what it is. You're splitting hairs for your opinion. It should have been a prayer for the president, not used for a platform for political agenda, says Terry. Like I said, I would agree with you if that was the first time a church did what you're talking about. But fact is, politics and churches go hand in hand. Plenty of churches preach politics. Plenty of them do. So this one church you don't get to single out this one church for doing something you don't like. A whole lot of churches preach right-wing politics as well. If it was the first time, you'd have my vote, but it's not. It's been going on in the country. That bishop gave them a taste of their own midst. Yeah, that's kind of what it was, in my opinion. That's kind of what, and I don't know, you know something? What she did was addressing his politics, but the right always says you're taking things out of context. You guys have always heard that, or reinterpret. She never said anything political. She just simply said all of these people coming in the country are not rapists and murderers. A lot of these folks are just trying to make a better life. And the LGBT community them folks are scared for their life. Is that really politics? I mean, what she said is actual facts. I don't know anything she said that's not true. They are fearful for their lives. They are not all rapists and murderers. I mean, if you listen to what she said, she didn't tell you to vote for anything. She didn't say to enact some type of bill or legislation. She gave her opinion on what illegal immigrants are in terms of to this country. A lot of them work, do menial tasks. They're not all here raping them. I mean, she didn't lie about anything. And she really technically didn't say anything political. She just did not give a sermon. But she said it was not religious. But it ain't political. If I tell you I don't believe most immigrants in this country are here harming people, that ain't politics. That's my opinion. And I believe it's a fact, too. I believe it's a fact. The Bible is a bunch of BS. Damn, Billy the Kid. She asked for mercy from a man that has none. None towards undocumented immigrants. I'll agree with that. I have no problem with her opinion. It simply wasn't a place or time. It was all about politics. I mean, to be honest, you could go to any church and hear an opinion from a pastor you may not agree with. But technically what she said was not political. But MAGA gets mad when we call them all racist, says Elliot. Yeah, they don't like that at all. They don't like that at all. Anyhow, folks, I do got to unfortunately step away. It is, you're talking to a guy who does have a day job. I appreciate I think it says 61,000. I didn't, okay, 61,000. I appreciate that. I'm going to ask that you follow the program, tap the screen as usual. I'm just breaking shit. Smash that like button if you will. And yeah, I wish I could bring it on a little bit longer. Unfortunately, I got to step away, so I'll catch you guys on the flip side tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Same thing on YouTube says, have a good day. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mittens. I'm MAGA. I'm not mad, says Terry. Yeah, no reason to be mad. You're winning. You're crushing it right now. No reason to be mad. Appreciate you tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow. Drop your boy a subscription. See you then.